The BBC News at 10 o'clock. This is Stephen Davis. The Prince of Wales has paid tribute to his father at the concert to mark the King's coronation in Windsor tonight. Katy Perry and Take That were among the acts helping to celebrate the occasion, while the King and the Prime Minister were among the 20,000 spectators. Prince William said the late Queen Elizabeth would be a proud mother and praised his father's decades of service.
Perhaps most importantly of all, my father has always understood that people of all faiths, all backgrounds, and all communities deserve to be celebrated and supported. Pa, we are all so proud of you.
Well, a number of street parties have been held across the UK today under the collective title The Coronation Big Lunch. The Prince and Princess of Wales made an unexpected appearance in Windsor, meeting well-wishers. The government has insisted the police are operationally independent following the arrest of more than 50 anti-monarchy protesters in London yesterday. Opposition MPs and human rights groups have criticised the police response, while the Met Police said it acted in a proportionate manner. Many of the detentions took place before demonstrations had even started. The former Chief Constable of Northumbria Police, Sue Sim, thinks that was wrong and warned against a police state.
Once the new Public Order Act had been rushed through Parliament last week, I did think this sort of thing was going to happen. However, I must say I'm very, very disappointed. I think, unfortunately, the problem with yesterday was that the Metropolitan Police did not want any type of public spectacle.
Police in Worcester say a 72-year-old woman is in a critical condition in hospital after she was stabbed multiple times early this morning. A 56-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. The leader of the Liberal Democrats, Sir Ed Davey, has ruled out joining a coalition with the Conservatives after the next general election. The Tories lost more than 1,000 council seats in Thursday's local elections. Well, away from the coronation festivities, Eurovision fever's also gripping the country ahead of next weekend's big song contest. This year's Eurovision acts have been welcomed to Liverpool today with an opening ceremony at St George's Hall. The city is preparing to host the contest on behalf of last year's winners, Ukraine. Well, also this weekend, last year's entry Sam Ryder has been immortalised on a mural at Manchester's Airport's railway station to welcome fans from around the world. Street artist Axie, the man behind some of Manchester's most memorable murals, was commissioned to create the work by the train operator TransPennine Express. And that's the BBC News. It's 3 minutes past 10.
We are here, you are there, with Allan Beswick.
I suspect the passengers rammed into the TransPennine Express on the occasions that it runs would prefer more trains, more often, more comfort than a mural. I'm Allan Beswick. Good evening. How are you?
BBC Radio Manchester.
0800 218 2255. If you want to join us, you can. Pick up your phone, have your say, talk about any subject you may wish to discuss. There's plenty knocking about, of course, over the last few days. And as you know, I like to start each programme with a sort of cockeyed look at what's gone on in the newspapers. This morning, the only thing in the newspapers was the coronation, apart from, as you just heard in the news, some say unwarranted arrest of a couple of gross of would-be protesters. And even that was about the bloody nation. The best bit of the sideshow stuff was the report that Dodgy Andrew, who you will recall shared the naughty step at the cathedral with the just give me the money and let me go Ginger Prince nephew, got booed by royal watchers as he was driven to church. Republicans make note. What would we have to laugh at were it not for the silver-spooned Barmies? It's not always good, but they do, from time to time, bring joy. Any of the concert, I watched about 10 minutes of it, that bit where they had a representation of all the arts that the Prince, now King, had supported, morally, if not else. There was the Royal Shakespeare doing a bit. It was quite good. The ballet, the opera, and the visual arts, and all of that. And they, from time to time, throughout the evening, I presume, but during the 10 minutes I was watching, 3 or 4 times, they cut to the King observing. I mean, it's his night, why wouldn't they? And I felt a bit sorry for him because he was about half a mile away from the stage. And when you see the pop bands and all that, they do concerts, even stand-up comedians, Peter Kay, when he does 30,000 people in the arena or whatever it is, they have dirty great big screens and he's on them so you can see what he's doing. But they didn't seem to do that with the screens for the King and Queen. So they were just looking at these sort of full stops moving about on a plank. It was ridiculous. I only hope that they had television screens at their knees that we couldn't see, but I don't think they did. And Her Majesty the Queen, I'm afraid, looked bored out of her skull. Because I don't suppose they could even hear it that well. They're knocking on a bit. I mean, their hearing's not going to be perfect, at the same age as me. But it was weird. And I don't know who organised it all, but they made damn sure that the royals weren't going to see much. And that poor little George Waller, dear God, was he fed up? But he's meant to be. Anyway, there you go. Just a passing observation of 10 minutes. 0800 218 2255. If you want to join us, we're here till 1 o'clock. You can talk about anything at all under the sun. We really don't mind. In fact, we're happy. The more divergent it is, divergent's the wrong word, but the more diverse it is, the happier we are. Let's get started. 0800 218 2255. Luke will take your calls. Talat will ring you back. Jason will put you through. And me, Allan Beswick, will chat with you. How do Ricky?
How do you do, Mr. Beswick? I heard that song, George the Will. Actually, I was talking to one of your co-persons, and I said, alive and kicking. So they made him laugh.
Well, somebody's got to. He's a miserable bugger most of the time.
I know, right. Maybe swiftly on. 2 quick topics. The olden days sweets. The olden days sweets like fisherman. Can I say the sweets?
Yeah, go on.
Fisherman's Friend.
Made in Fleetwood,
always
of course.
Still going. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I believe they are. Yes, I believe they are.
Oh, yeah. They're still alive and kicking. Yeah. And with Uncle Joel's mint balls.
They're still going as well. Made in Wigan.
Yeah. Wigan. We used to get these things, butterscotch tablets. When I say they were like a little chewy thing, but they were like you got butterscotch, or you could get licorice, and then add the kale, when you're young, rainbow kale and
I remember that. It was basically just coloured sugar.
Dip dobs and blackjacks, fruit salads, and fizzy lizzies, and it was great. You can still get them in all sweet shops, and there's one near me. It's brilliant. Absolutely great.
Yeah, some of the ones you mentioned, like Fisherman's Friend, and they're available generally.
Oh yeah, well I go into a shop, and my local newsagents where I go, you can still see them there, and I'm sure there's still as like Hovis. Sorry for saying that. It still is still now. And my second subject is old TV programs, like the Generation Game. Burning of the Bolts.
That was called the Golden Shot.
That's the one. So yeah, that's the one. Yeah, and it was what was it called? With the conveyor belt. That one.
You've said that one. Generation Game.
Oh, that's right. Game for a Laugh.
I think I remember that. Yeah. Who was in it? Son?
Yeah, it's quite. It was Matthew Keller, Sarah Kennedy, I think, and the Irish guy.
And they used to sit on stools, didn't they, and deliver the introduction to the video.
Yeah, just say, and they said, "What's it?" So that time, watching you, and said, "Next time, go for a laugh." And it was Beadle. He went around.
I was going to say there was 4 of them.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there was Jeremy Beadle. Yeah, there was. I think Jeremy Beadle was on there on the panel.
Jeremy Beadle, yes, and he went on to do a a sort of
Beadle's about
trick show.
He goes
They were all right.
It's great. And then there was that one, Cracker
I think
Jack.
we were just more easily pleased in those days, but Cracker Jack began with Eamon Andrews.
Yeah, it was just brilliant. You know, it was just absolutely, bring them back, but we can't. But they're still on YouTube, and I still have a laugh at some of the how young I am now. But that's better than right.
Cracker Jack. You could go on Cracker Jack, and you could win magnificent prizes like a pencil.
Yeah. I'd rather go on the Golden Shot and get the goals.
Well, yeah.
The goals, yeah.
I guess most people would.
And then, it's great. So you'd be there and say, hit the target and, hey, jackpot, well done. I wonder how much that goal was worth, eh? All them gold coins turned into pounds, eh? And that was quite a few, in them days, you wouldn't that, and you got a check in your bank account.
Yeah.
Right, and what you going on, Mr. Beswick?
Happy days, all right. Have a good day or evening. I'll do Simon.
Hello, Alan. I want to talk about my dog's died today.
Okay.
Wednesday, I went to my sister's, and she was walking brilliant. She's 16 and a half years old, Staffordshire Bull Terrier, stubborn little bugger. She'd tell me where to go, and I'd say, we're not going that way. And she'd say, we bloody are, and she'd pull that funny face. Anybody who's got a Staffordshire will know what I mean. Wow, I want my biscuits and all that. And on Wednesday night, I got an old bottle of chocolate out of my cupboard, and I was dipping my finger. I might as well finish it. It's been there so long, and I was letting her lick it. And I think that's probably what's done her. Did for her, I wasn't thinking, Ellen. I didn't do it out of kindness, and then next day, and just getting ready for women's hours coming on. I like women's hour, but I get my dog out, and she didn't really want to go. She went for a wee, and later on at tea time, she was falling over, and last night, I put the mattress in the front room, and she was looking at walls. She like delirious and all that, and she put a muzzle on my face, and I think, in retrospect, that she was telling me I'm off now, Si, and I've had something today. I've been putting boom radio on just now and again. And I got some good records. One of them at 6:15, it was Dolly Parton. She was singing "I Was Always Loved When There was one line in it that made me cry. I've got to go away. And I'm thinking, no, you blooming don't do. And about 8:30, I forget what this record, I started crying on that one. I've got to go away. No, you don't do. Do you think I'm that soft? She's 16 and a half. She was 16 and a half. She'd had a good run, And I'm a bit of a slow burner. There was a film in an old film about Marie Curie and her husband. Her husband died, and Marie Curie would just do the work, and everybody was watching it, and everybody on thing was saying, she doesn't seem to care, she doesn't seem to care. And about after 5 or 10 minutes, she burst out crying. Oh, that was so pure, because some people are silent sufferers. I think I'm born to be a silent sufferer, and I'm on pity pot now, that's per usual, but I'm on that because I like the pity pot. And I've been in touch with my family and all that, and we're trying to get in touch. We only get in touch. We're not a very understanding family, but we're pretty close, so we're pretty intelligent. And He's got a very unusual name, my brother. I'm going to say it, Quintus. He's got a right unusual name. He doesn't suffer fools gladly. He's not one of them dog. And but she's been walking miles and miles and miles all the time, and to be honest, I feel guilty for trying to be kind, giving her some chocolate out of the thing. I've talked to my other mate who gave me chocolate, and oh yeah, you're blaming me. I said, I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying what happened. I think everything happens for a reason, Ellen. Do you want to come in now, Alan?
Frankly, you know, pets, when they go, it's painful. It's not really the time to discuss it, but dogs don't eat chocolate. They oughtn't to be given chocolate at all, really.
Yeah, I know that, Alan, but I've given her chocolate in the past, and I've given all my dogs a bit of chocolate. I like to spoil them, you know.
Well, you know, you've lost your dog. I'm not going to get into that with you, but it's, you know, you should feed an animal on the things it would feed itself upon, and there are not many dogs that climb a tree or dig a hole and chase around a bar of Cadbury's.
Alan, if I ever got another dog, I'll be an ignorant mistake merchant, because that's how I'm born. I just like making my own mistakes.
Well, that's fine. I'm not suggesting you shouldn't. I'm just saying that's not something to discuss today. You've lost your pet, and that's painful.
Yeah, it's sort of. But sometimes I've talked to my neighbour. She's in a wheelchair, and when I told her, she was sort of laughing. But when I came back from shop with my pity pot were 12 cans of bitter. It had registered into her head what I'd said, and I was being a bit angry about people always judgmental, and you're a bastard and you don't care.
I'd prefer you didn't use that language, really.
I know.
Well, if you know, don't use it.
That.
Don't be sorry.
Well,
don't use it. Carry on. And we had a chat and all that. And I was thinking, don't worry about it, she'll understand. And she did. She'd got it. She didn't get it when I first said it. She was doing laugh, you know, and because it hadn't registered what I just said. My Dusty has died. And everybody dies. I know everybody dies. Every fly's died. Every human's died in the history of humanity. I know that. But I can never help blaming myself for everything. I really can't. I'm an ambiguous man, you know. I'm also recondite. I believe in that Dusty's gone to the great beyond. Because where does a fireman once said to me, a retired fireman, when you die, where does energy go? It's got to go somewhere. It's got to. Well, true it has. You know, you've had a horrid day, Simon. Thank you for talking to us. How do Anthony?
Oh, hello, Alan. I'm sorry for Simon's loss. I've had a couple of pet dogs and lost, and you know, I'll always remember them for all their faults. So I hope he gets over that. But yeah, just two things. The coronation and Canada. Which one shall I start with? Coronation, I was watching that yesterday. I was going to phone, I did try to phone up yesterday morning, but you had a more important call to handle with someone who had some very serious issues to deal with, and they took 25 minutes. They ran you out of time, basically, till 1 o'clock.
So what do you want to say about the coronation?
Yeah, no, I was looking at Prince Charles, King Charles now, and I thought it was sad that he's taken this job on at 74, which is more or less your age, as far as I know. And you're just thinking, well, if his mother had retired at the age of 80, he could have taken it on, when he had a lot more energy, and stuff like that. And he's a poor guy. I don't think he was knew exactly what was coming up with putting all these robes on him and that crown.
Well, I think he knew exactly what was coming up in that respect. He knows all about the ceremonial. But you say poor guy. But of course, in order for him to take the role earlier, his mother would have had to die, because she believed, and I'm under the impression that he also believes, that they are chosen by God. And if God chooses you, then I'm afraid you got to get on with it.
Well, the Roman Catholic Church had a different point of view. They had two popes for a while, didn't they?
Well, he's not. I think they still have.
They changed their mind about that.
He's not actually a member of the Roman Catholic Church. He's a member.
Well, we know that.
Yeah. Well, and other faiths, I'm sure, have their beliefs. But his belief and his mother's belief is that they were selected by God, and God will decide when it is time for the next one to take over. And he decided it was a long, long time later than was expected.
Well, I know a lot of 74-year-olds are more interested in going on their allotment, going on holiday, going on cruises, putting their feet up in front of the fire.
But they haven't been born to use their expression, to serve. They've been born to have their life, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he believes he was born to serve, and all his life has been walking towards the day when his mother died and he took over. And his God decided she'll have a very, very long time, and he would take the job on. Insofar as we can understand, he's not happy his mother's dead, but he's happy he's got the job.
Finally.
Well, finally.
But I just
he's happy he's got
it,
Yeah,
I looked at him and I just thought, good grief, he looks so old now.
Well, that's on account of him being old.
I just thought, I hope he's still got the energy and the inclination to still do all these things. I mean, he's done a lot of very good things, over the last 40, 50 years, in his roles. But I'm thinking he'll never be able to really do what he could have done. Anyway, that's up to them, if they want to believe this God stuff and etc., which I am afraid I don't. That's their freedom to do that. So anyway, right, Canada. Right, you're going out to Canada in June, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Yeah. Go to Niagara Falls.
No.
You're not going to Niagara Falls?
No.
I'd recommend it. It's commercialised like hell on both sides, on the US side and
just some water falling over.
Well, I don't know. It's it really is quite spectacular, and it's a nice train ride from Toronto down to
well, I'm not going to Toronto either. Canada's an enormous place. It's the second largest country in the world. So
is it? Second?
Yeah. China's
the largest? Australia?
China.
Oh, China. Okay. Well, I've learned something today.
You can't do it all in a month.
No, but I was just saying that to someone who might have not been down to Niagara before. I think it's worth having a look at. But anyway,
Well, it's fine.
like
I don't think I mean, I don't know, but I don't think I'd stop if I was driving past.
I think you would.
All right.
What they do, and this is quite clever, I'm not too sure whether I was quite happy with this, but somehow they've put loads of LED lights behind the falls, and they are very, very big falls. Probably, I'd say 500 yards, 700 yards.
From the way you're describing it and the things you've said already, you seem to be telling me that it's yet another case where mankind has decided it can enhance nature, and that would just make me cross.
Yeah, well, it did make me cross to a large extent.
Right,
But,
well, you're recommending something now that made you cross, so that I can go and I can get cross. I'd just as soon not go.
Yeah, but you just got to see through things like that. The commercialisation.
No, you haven't got to see things. There's no compulsion. There is so much in the world that I want to see that hasn't been turned into some kind of stupid light show by the cretins that run it.
Yeah, okay, well, I think, I can't blame you, but I just thought as I heard you're off to Canada. You're just going off to see family. I mean, I don't want to be too nosy. I don't really care that much, but you just want to see some proper sites there, which haven't been buggered around by human beings.
I'm going to see what is there, and if I go to something and it's been utterly commercialised, then I won't like it, but I will make that discovery on arrival.
Yeah, okay, well, no, Canada's one thing I found. I'll just say this finally, for anybody who's interested. I've gone to Canada and the United States for 25 years, and Canada's a lot more on to saving energy. Switch off the switches in your hotel room. Please recycle. And
but whilst we're here saving energy, we'll put some lights on a waterfall. That's not saving much energy, is it?
Well, that was the Americans who did that. It wasn't the Canadians. But it was quite an interesting contrast. They are, and the United States was just kind of like, well, we don't give a bother about the environment.
Depends where you go.
It probably does, actually. I'm being a bit... probably parts of...
Why did the Americans put lights on Niagara Falls, given that it's in Canada?
I'm not too sure it is in Canada. I think it's in...
So I said I'm going to Canada. You said then go to Niagara Falls.
Yeah, it's on the border.
It's on the border. Where does the water start?
Well, I'm not an expert about rivers.
Not to worry. That's okay. Don't worry. You recommended I go to Niagara Falls, and my decision is I can't be bothered, and it's too far away from where I'm going to be anyway.
Yes, fair enough. I'm sure you can tell us about it when you come back. It'll be quite interesting what you think about it. But that contrast, if you do pop down to the United States, well, I've
been to the United States. Yes, I mean, this is beginning to sound like who's travelled the furthest. I've been to the United States a few times. I've done the West Coast, the East Coast, and it's fascinating. And Canada will be fascinating.
Yeah, well, you'll find it'll make an interesting contrast to both the West Coast, East Coast, and the Midwest of the United States. which I've travelled through a couple of times in my, short life.
Anthony, we've got the message. You've been a long way. How do Des?
Good evening to you, Mr. Beswick. How the devil are you?
I'm awfully well, thank you.
That's great to hear. What a beautiful sunny day it's been. Well, I'm in the northwest, so I presume you're this sort of way still in Wales, are you?
I am, and it was sunny here also.
Yeah, beautiful day. Absolutely beautiful day. Your previous caller there talking about, I'm going by the way a little bit here, but your previous caller there saying, why did King Charles, as he's now known, take this job in inverted commas on it at this age? Come on, it's not like he's working a 12-hour shift down the docks on nights or anything, is he?
Well, there is that, yes. Well, he does have to do... The job comes with an awful lot of travel, and that can be somewhat challenging, but he doesn't travel third class. He's not being dragged there on the back of a bicycle. He's going to be going very comfortably.
God love him. Having said that, I do admire the man. I mean, I am no means by any way a royalist or unionist in any sort of stretch of the imagination, but I do admire the man. I always have done since he was a young prince.
Why?
With his views on nature, concern about the planet, concern about the earth, and that's just something I've always liked about him.
I mean, in the early days of his discourse about the green things, as they were called, he was given an awful lot of stake, and now, of course, that's the currency of life.
Oh, indeed, yeah. So for that reason and that reason alone, that's why I do admire the man, whether he was king or a pauper. It wouldn't make any difference. But anyway, I'll go back on to a little story about my day today. Decided to go for a little walk. I'm in the Bootle area of Liverpool. Decided to go for a little walk because it was a lovely day. A small stretch of the Bootle Canal from Bootle Strand, from the Leeds-Liverpool Canal, I should have said. From Bootle Strand, I walked towards the docks and I came across a pub, would you believe it? Probably about 10, 15, 20-minute walk from the Bootle Strand, a pub called the Lock and Key. I went in there, had a nice pint of Guinness, and there was no televisions, which I thought, oh, look at this is okay. There were people, young families, a nice beer garden, a dog-friendly pub. It's the first time I've been there. And above the bar it said, all profits are put into community projects.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, I think I'll be coming here again. The Lock and Key.
Excellent. Right, well, there you are. Yeah. Community pub.
If you ever happen to be strolling along that part of the canal, apparently now it leads all the way into Liverpool city centre as well. Yeah, so if you ever fancy paddling all the way down from Leeds in your canoe to Liverpool city centre, stop off at the Lock and Key.
Well, yeah, could be all right. I don't really go in pubs, but if I did, it would be good to go into one that didn't have a load of tellies anywhere. But good on you, Des. Thank you very much, and I hope the pub does well. How do Shafik?
I'm okay alone. I'm so happy I'm still alive. I found my king queen in the Great Britain. King Charles III, he's 76-year-old. His title was Duke of Cromwell. Okay, I'm going another subject. I believe Bible. Bible is religion book. If Bible say when Jesus Christ come back, return again, and Jesus Christ will be happy with his Christian people. Because he want to say, oh my people, you keep my Bible in this yard. Bible nobody can destroy. Bible is every single word is a God message. You can't destroy. So he first of all, he happy himself, Jesus Christ, he happy himself, he found Bible. Then come to another one. Another book is a Muhammad made it is a Quran. And Quran says Jesus Christ come in 3 times. Bible say 2 times. And Hindus say they reborn again. Buddhist religion. So then human being made a parliament, United Nations, NATO, OIC, many things. Everything he found when he come back, return again. So we need to be ruled this thing. To need to go school, college, university, not demonstration in outside Downing Street. It is not peaceful. If you want to do anything, go parliament, your boys to your prime minister. When the election coming, we go vote center. We give the vote. We decided our leader, and he talking half of me in the parliament. Not necessary to demonstrate outside Downing Street. Thank you.
0800 218 2255. There is a point in there somewhere. I had this thought today. In Russia, if you protest against Putin, you're thrown in jail. In this country, if you protest against King Charles's coronation, you're thrown in jail. It's good to be free, isn't it? How do, George?
Hello, Alan. What I'd like to talk about, Alan, is the last street parties I've seen, like in the streets. I never seen one this time for King Charles. I never seen any. I looked around different streets, and where I have seen them before. This time I've never seen any at all. I just don't know what happened. All around Merseyside where I live, Ned side, I've never seen any.
Well, there may not have been any.
But they used to have them.
Well, they had them, Her Majesty's Jubilee, silver and gold.
That's the one they had.
The silver Jubilee was massive in terms of street parties.
That's the one I was looking at.
The Golden Jubilee was less extensive in street party terms, and there were some street parties this time, but not so many.
Because people had no money, that's why.
Well, it could be that, yeah. That's certainly going to be part of it. But I don't think when it would be the Queen's Silver Jubilee, I don't think they were rolling in cash then. It was just people knew their neighbours. Communities were more bonded to each other in those days, and they're less so now.
Yeah, and another thing, Alan, concerning the King Charles's coronation. Did they have music? The music. They had all these after the singers, different singers on for King Charles. I never seen any of them on the telly. I can't understand why they never put them on the telly.
Well, they're a particular kind of singer. Certainly all the young kids, they're just at music school, so they're youngsters, and one day they may well be on telly in their own right. As for the others, Glenn Turfel, he's been on the telly a few times, but telly audiences for opera are not that great.
No, but anyway, that's it, Alan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good on you. Have a good night. 0800 218 2255. I suppose for the non-pretentious, I'm trying not to be too offensive, for the non-pretentious, then, they've got that stuff, or they've had that stuff tonight, the take-that's of this world, and then a load of Americans. Well, come on, Lionel Richie, I know he does a lot over here, but the guy's an American, and then there was that other woman, I've forgotten her name, but she was doing a bit, and that's fine. They have who they like. At least he didn't wear that yellow frock that woman wore in the cathedral yesterday. That was some frock. I know nothing about clothes, but I looked at that and thought, by God, woman, what's that? 0800 218 2255. How do, Arthur?
Hello, Mr. Colin. Hiya, pal. Not Colin, what's happening now?
It don't matter. What would you like to talk about, Arthur?
A few things, actually. The main thing I want your view on is it correct would you say, when you're walking through a corridor, to keep to the left-hand side when you're walking down a corridor?
When you say, is it correct? I understand the question. When you say, is it correct, as far as I'm aware, there isn't any rule or regulation about it unless there's a specific one in a specific place.
When you're using an escalator, you're obviously on the left-hand side. When you're driving a vehicle, you're on the left-hand side of the road. So it makes sense when you're walking through a corridor, you keep to the left-hand side. But I have noticed, though, far too often, especially recently, people tend to walk on the right-hand side. So you're bumping into them constantly.
Well,
you don't know whether to...
if they're walking on the right-hand side and you're the only one walking on the left-hand side, perhaps you should move to the right, and that'd solve it.
Well, I just wanted your view on it. I don't
have one. As far as I'm aware, there isn't a right or wrong side of the street or even a corridor to walk on.
Well, okay, we'll leave that one. Obeying, so to speak. Did I have a conversation with you last night or last week about that programme you brought back, or showing previous episodes of Faulty Towers?
I have no idea. I never remember.
Oh, do you not remember Faulty Towers?
I remember Faulty Tires. I remember Faulty Towers. I don't remember the conversations I've had.
John Cleese on the Monty Python team.
I remember the programme. The thing I don't remember is the conversations I've had with people on previous versions of this programme. I tend not to remember them.
Oh, do you remember watching the programme, though? Well, it was fantastic.
I remember Faulty Towers with a certain degree of fondness, yes.
Yes, the waiter, the crazy waiter. The Spanish waiter, always saying crazy things. And the other one that I was watching a programme earlier tonight, reminiscing over the old duo Morecambe and Wise. Oh, they were superb. You remember Morecambe and Wise?
I do.
Okay. Well, leave it at that then. Maybe other people can follow up on any of those things I've brought up with you. Okay, sir.
All right. Good on you. Morecambe and Wise were funny. Whether they'd still be funny, whether they'd still be regarded as funny now, I don't know. Comedy's changed massively, hasn't it? And that's odd, because you would think if something's funny 50 years ago, it'd be funny now. But comedy moves on, and it's moved on a lot. I mean, most of the comedy you get now is observational. Some of it's quite revolting in my view, but some of it's all right. And you just think, yeah. Hey, each to their own, and each generation to their own. How do Louisiana?
Good evening, Alan. It is Louisiana here. How are you this evening?
Awfully well, thank you.
Good. Alan, just before I get on to the subject I'd like to discuss with you, I wonder if you're watching the BBC programme Race Across the World.
Yes.
Are you? You are? I thought you might be, because it's going across Canada at the moment. Isn't it brilliant? Don't you think it's a really good show?
I think it's excellent, yes.
I mean, it's both sort of a fly on the wall thing, but it's also got, it's almost like a show talking about, oh gosh, those sort of trips, telling you where you can go and things. It's really, really good. But anyway, Alan, what I want to talk to you about tonight is a conversation that you very briefly discussed a couple of weeks ago with a chap that phoned in. I can't remember how or why, but he mentioned, I think, how women walking alone could be frightened of men. Now, I'm willing to admit he might not have used those words, and he wasn't being at all rude, Alan, or aggressive, but I want to hone in on that subject. I think I might have had this conversation with you before, but I'd like to reiterate my standpoint tonight, if that's okay. I'm a little bit bonkers in that I go for a very early morning walk most days of the week. I usually start at about 5:30 a.m. because it's just the best time of day for me before the working day starts. It's so lovely to see the day unfold, really, be it commuters, councils emptying bins, picking up litter, window cleaners. There's just so much to see. It's almost addictive. I'm willing to admit that. Have you ever walked at that time of the day? And do you understand?
Frequently,
It's
yes.
lovely. Do you like walking at that time of the day?
I like walking any time, but yes.
Yeah. But to get back to women being scared of men, whilst I can't speak for all women, and I would not want to at all speak for women, what I would say is that I have never, ever been scared of a man on my morning walks. I sadly moved from North Wales a few months ago, and I'm now living in a city setting. So two extremes in a way, from rural to urban. When I walk at this, some people do say it's a silly time of day, but when I do walk at that time of day and I encounter men, I feel completely safe. I'm not sure if it's because I maybe look a bit dishevelled and therefore I'm not at all attractive because I'm older. I'm in my 50s, by the way. Or if it's because my stride is reasonably confident. I wouldn't say it's very confident, but it's reasonably confident. But the key for me is to make eye contact with a man if and when I encounter one. I even try to say good morning. But here goes, Alan. This is what I am scared of. What I'm much more scared of, Alan, is traffic. When I lived in North Wales, the little Welsh village I lived in served as a shortcut to a business park. So lots of heavy, good vehicles would drive down our very small village main road, and the small pavements I walked on would almost shudder or judder when a juggernaut passed me. So I would worry about a vehicle hitting the curb and then hitting me. If I went for a walk in the woods in the same village, I'd be more worried about falling down a rabbit hole or some such like, and not being able to get mobile reception to call for help. Now, I now live somewhere that has very wide roads and lots of cycle lanes, but last week I was very nearly killed crossing a road, and so this is the whole point of me ringing in tonight, to just reiterate my feeling about men that I might encounter and how they do not frighten me at all. I'd pressed the pedestrian crossing button and started to cross as soon as I saw the green pedestrian figure, but a lorry ignored their red light and headed straight for me. I admit I should have been more observant and I should have looked to my right, but I crossed that pedestrian crossing, as I often do, with faith that that green for a pedestrian meant I was safe. But it was bad of me. I don't know if the driver was maybe on the phone or half asleep, or he simply didn't see me. I hope it was the latter. I like to think he wasn't heading for me, Alan. I doubt it very much. But Alan, it was incredibly scary, and it confirmed the statement I often make to my husband, that it's not traffic, that it is traffic, not lone men walking that I fear. I reckon I was about 15 centimetres away from death. Have you ever felt scared walking on your own, Alan?
Not really, no. Can't think of any time.
Not sort of late at night, for instance?
No, one of the things I like doing is walking in cities I don't know late at night. And I've had a number of interesting encounters that have provided me with lots of entertainment, but I've never felt afraid for it.
What would you do if another thing that I had that happened a few weeks ago was I came across, well, at about 6 o'clock in the morning, 3 young girls approached me, almost but anyway, they approached me. One asked if she could use my phone to call her dad. Now, I think I'm pretty good at guessing ages, Alan, and I guesstimated them to be aged between 12 and 14 years old. And as I say, it was probably about 6 o'clock in the morning at that point. They were shivering. Their hair was wet from drizzle. They had no coats. They were very, very cold. What would you have done in that situation, Alan?
It's impossible to say, isn't it? Because I would have to be there and make my own judgment.
You can't sort of say, just put yourself in that situation.
Well, not with any degree of accuracy. You've described your view of it and your thought. I would make a judgment on the day, and it would depend on a variety of things, not the least of which was whether I could be bothered or not. I don't have this idea that I give an answer because
no, I know, and I'm putting you in a difficult.
No, it's not that. I'm not put in a difficult position, but I can't predict what my reaction would be.
When I came home, I asked my husband what he would have done, and he admitted he would have found it difficult to help them. Sort of being worried about maybe being accused of something, I suppose. But I thought, this was one of the occasions where I found my gender to be helpful. I did. I put the phone on loudspeaker and I did, call the father with the girl. The father was furious, by the way. You can imagine. I do think they were probably. One of them at least was about 12 years old. But, it's interesting, isn't it? What maybe the way a woman could approach that, and maybe a man might not be able to deal with this in quite the same way. But anyway, Alan, thank you for your time again tonight. It's always good to talk to you. Thank you.
And you. 0800 218 2255. Want to join us, you can. We're here until 1 o'clock in the morning. It's now just after, getting towards 5 to 11, so there's plenty of time. But 0800 218 2255. At the very beginning of the programme, a chap came on talking about some of the old sweets. He mentioned Fisherman's Friends, made in Fleetwood, of course, and various others, including Wiggins' Uncle Joe's Mint Balls. Here's my garden.
There's a place in Wigan, and a place you all should know, a busy little factory where things are all aglow. But they don't make cakes, or Eccles cakes, or things to stick on walls. But night and day they work away at Uncle Joe's Mint Balls, 'cause Uncle Joe's Mint Balls keep you all aglow. Give one to your granny and watch the bugger go. Away with coughs and sniffles, take a few in hand. Suck 'em and see, you'll agree they're the best in all the land. Well, I gave one to the Coleman's horse as it stood in the road. It gave a cough, then buggered off, complete with cart and load. It ran on to the racecourse, going like a bird. It covered the track with nutty slack and came first, second and third. 'Cause Uncle Joe's Mint Balls keep you all aglow. Give one to your granny, oh watch the bugger go. Away with coughs and sniffles, take a few in hand. Suck 'em and see, you'll agree they're the best in all the land. Well, me Uncle Albert passed away with ale upon the brain. Doctor said that he were dead, might never walk again. Well, we gave the corpse an Uncle Joe's, then stood back aghast. Corpse jumped up and ran to pub to spend insurance brass. 'Cause Uncle Joe's Mint Balls keep you all aglow. Give one to your granny, oh watch the bugger go. Away with coughs and sniffles, take a few in hand. Suck 'em and see, you'll agree they're the best in all the land. Now my grandad, he wanted curly hair on his bald head. Just suck an Uncle Joe's Mint Ball, that's what the doctor said. Well, he sucked an Uncle Joe's Mint Ball, he sucked it all night long. When he woke up next morning, he'd had all over his tongue. 'Cause Uncle Joe's mint balls keep you all aglow. Give one to your granny and watch the bugger go. Away with coughs and sniffles, take a few in hand. Suck 'em and see, you'll agree they're the best in all the land. I had a girl, her name was May, in passion she were lacking. Fed her on brandy to make her randy, but still she wouldn't get cracking. Gave her an Uncle Joe's to get her all aglow. Now she walks the streets of Wigan, looking for Uncle Joe. 'Cause Uncle Joe's mint balls keep you all aglow. Give one to your granny and watch the bugger go. Away with coughs and sniffles, take a few in hand. Suck 'em and see, you'll agree they're the best in all the land. Now the RSPCA have bought 6 tons of Uncle Joe's to give to all the animals to keep them all aglow. Our budgie now is 6 foot tall, Cat is 8 foot 3. All the poor brass monkeys are as happy as can be. 'Cause Uncle Joe's mint balls keep you all aglow. Give one to your granny and watch the bugger go. Away with coughs and sniffles, take a few in hand. Suck 'em and see, you'll agree they're the best in all the land.
And clearly that wasn't Mike Harding singing Uncle Joe's Mint Balls. He did write it, and that was the Horton Weavers with a rather more sanitised version of Mike Harding's song. And bad labelling is the best I can offer you as an excuse. But anyway, there you are. So, not Mike Harding singing, but it was Mike Harding's song. And it was all because that guy referred to Uncle Joe's Mint Balls earlier. Mike Harding's first album, which was called, or first LP as we called him in those days, was called A Lancashire Lad, and he was photographed outside the factory in Wigan, the Santos factory, which you used to be able to see it from the train. Not really still can, but they had the whole gable end of the factory painted, a great big sign, Santos, S-A-N-T-U-S, Santos, Uncle Joe's Mint Balls. I don't know whether it still does. I've not been round there for ages. We wanted the programme live from there, and throughout the whole of the programme my eyes watered because of all the mint and the heat and everything else. It was just like I was crying. Somebody said to me the other day on this programme, when did you last cry? It was there. The water was pouring out my eyes because of all the heat and horror. But there you are. It was good fun. 0800 218 2255. If you want to join us, you can. We're here till 1 o'clock. You can talk about absolutely anything. We have neither pride nor shame, and we don't have that many rules either. I know. I mean, did you watch the concert this evening? Or it's mostly this evening, wasn't it? There were lots of other things going on, but the actual concert itself. Did you watch that? What did you think of it? I watched about 4 minutes of it and thought, yeah, well, it's all right. It's the kind of thing they do, isn't it? I wasn't over keen that it was Lionel Richie. I don't know why. You know, they've not got a king. Why should we have to share ours with them? If they want one, get their own. So there you go. Did you know why the President of the United States didn't come to the coronation? No president. They always get invited. But I read, I think it was today, I read that no president has ever attended because, of course, they had a war against England, as it was then called, in order to break away and become independent. So they had the War of Independence, and now for the President of the United States to come and not kowtow, but certainly pay homage to the King would be... Well, it wouldn't be the Republican thing to do, would it? Really, it might cause consternation in his own country. I know the First Lady, as they call Mrs. President, the First Lady came, and that is, that's a step, isn't it? That's showing respect for the office, but not the president, because that would be less than acceptable to the American people, which is fine. 0800 218 2255 if you want to have your say. That's good. We don't mind at all. Pick up your phone and talk about whatever you like. In the meantime, we'll move on. How do Michelle?
Hello there, Alan. A few things. What about the guy who came on and said about his dog with the chocolate?
Mm-hmm.
The dog most probably didn't pass because of the chocolate, most probably because of the age. So
Well,
he
that
doesn't
seems
need to feel
reasonable.
guilty
That
on
seems a reasonable assumption, yeah.
Yeah, so he doesn't have to worry about the chocolate part. But you should always read what your dogs are allowed, and the list is quite long not to give your dogs.
Mm. And
the other
chocolate is
guy-
included.
Very much so, top of the list, I think. The guy that was on about the sweets, the first thing that came to my mind when he said that was Tutti Fruities.
All
He was
right.
mentioning old sweets.
Bring back Little Richard,
Haven't
all is
seen them.
forgiven. Little
haven't
Richard
seen
did a
those
song,
for a
Tutti
long
Frutti, you're a living doll. Perhaps we'll play that. We might get the wrong version of it, but we'll go steady. Little Richard, Tutti Frutti, if anyone's got it. If you're listening, Jason, let's see if you get the right one this time. Go on, anyway. Tutti Fruttis.
The other one is about the Silver Jubilee. I went to the Silver Jubilee when I was a very young girl. In Devon, they had one in one of the streets. It took the whole street up. And then after that, I moved to Southampton, but there you go. But about neighbours, people not talking anymore. And being antisocial, I think people are now. They don't say morning half the time. If you smile at them, they look at you and say, God, they've just smiled at me, and they don't know what to do. I've lived around here for now 6 years, and I've only spoke to one neighbour.
Good Lord.
And he lives across the road, but he's an ex-policeman. But otherwise, my own next-door neighbour I've not spoke to. And I just find that quite weird. Because
When you
in the
say-
70s and 80s...
When you said you've not spoken to them, have you tried to?
I said hello. They said nothing back.
Okay.
You walk past sometimes and they put their head down like they don't want to see or look at you. So my partner's turned around and said, isn't it nice nowadays when you walk past, people bow? So, because they just put their heads down to ignore you and walk past you, and it's like, why do people do this? They don't say morning or hello or smile. It's like, just not on anymore. It's everywhere. We walk in the park with our dog and we say good morning to people, and they just walk past, they don't say anything back. And you think, why did I bother?
Because you wanted to.
Because I'm polite. I'm friendly. And I'm sociable.
Well, if you keep trying, eventually they might respond.
That'd be a shock to me.
That's all right.
That
Cope
lady,
with that kind of a shock, can't you?
I think so. Cope with a lot of other stuff. That lady saying about walking across the crossing. Well, I was doing my cane training when I started losing my sight, so they did the cane training with me. And we were walking across the zebra crossing. And no cars didn't stop, they just revved up the engines and just went past. And the woman who was teaching me the cane sort of like did a few signals that are not to be said. And anyway, we carried on doing that. And then we went down the other zebra crossing, and a lorry driver stopped, and he was giving hand signals to go past for me to cross the road. And the cane trainer was saying, she can't see. So there's a few things that go on funny for blind people, when people don't understand what the cane's for. Some people don't understand what it is. I've had loads of people bang into me and say, can't you see or something? I said, no. Or, I didn't see you there. And I said, do you want to borrow my cane? No, because they bang into you, they don't move out of your way, they walk straight into you. I've been knocked a few times. So, the thing that worries me is people full stop banging into you. I can't see them.
Must be very difficult.
It's hard, because when you, a blind person, I mean other blind people that come into your show would understand, that when we go for someone to say, oh, it's just 10 minutes down the road, but to us it's not 10 minutes down the road, because, well, it is, but we have to memorise everything, the streets, the pavements, the crossings, the buildings, so it's very hard work for us. I mean, you can get tired through all of it. It's exhausting. But, yeah, we try. I try.
It's all we can do in life, Michelle. All we can do. I say it's all we can do in life.
And all we can learn.
Indeed. Good to talk to you. How do Andrew?
All right, Andrew. I'm sorry, I have to take a deep breath. You see, it's had a bit of a reaction attack today. Great calls. Michelle, Louisiana, remember when over the civil education and all that, and like, you know, you walk in the park and all that, and it's like, you know, people who bully women are not men in the story, they're just bits. Right? So, I was going to ask you, it was like about horsepower and cars, the same thing, you see. Now, there's a story there on Sky News that there was like 3 people get arrested for distributing rape alarms. But you know, these people, like the noise will scare these monsters up, you know what I mean? Blast them out or whatever, don't deserve a life, yeah. Hey, I'm from Nogsy. You don't say shit like that. I'm sorry for swearing. I'll never do it again. But like, anyway, but like I'd say, he said he arrested 3 people and he was trying to scare horses specifically. And now, we know that a few horses got spooked during the start of the parade and said, the Queen is dead, long live the King, hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. Right? I'm a loyalist and a royalist, you see. But I'm thinking there's a common denominator that maybe some of these people who just like protesting, the same people that who were trying to protect horses might be involved with this thing that spooked our greatest, our bestest horses. That's what I'm scared of, because either way it's wrong. It's wrong in the way of misogyny, it's wrong in the way of the world, you see. Okay, and Michelle, I'm blind sometimes, you see. I've got like, part of my life is like fibromyalgia. I can't cope with Saturdays or big events, like, you see. There's all hospital. Doesn't matter, we must keep going. God bless you. And Louisiana, right, anytime, you know, I am Andrew from Mountfield, you know, I will give you the best protection in the world because no one messes with me, ever. Now, can I ask you about your car, please, Alan? Your hybrid? With your classes like, it's hybrid kilowatt technology, you see. With your classes like maybe a small SUV or an SUV. Or like a mini hatchback. Sorry.
What was the question?
I was wondering if you were interested in maybe going fully electric.
If I was what?
Going fully electric.
No, I'm not interested.
No. So, like, is your like mild hybrid like a small car, medium car, big car?
It's I think they call it an SUV, sports utility vehicle.
Yes, not a crossover. Because some of the smaller ones are like SUVs, like.
Well, I've answered the question. As far as I know, it's an SUV. I didn't pay much heed to it. It's just the one that works.
Oh, okay. Look, it doesn't matter whether it works. Does it work for you? Do you know what the carbon emissions are?
Well, it kind of matters whether it works. I don't want it just to sit there in a box and not go anywhere. I want it to work.
Yeah, but carbon emissions, you see, you still have their own carbon emissions. Now you're getting supersonic power, like 155 brake horsepower, or Ford at the best estate, right? But it's all 3-cylinder now. The engine's so compact. I actually watched it as like a sort of a pretend engineer. We all have mechanical acumen, so to speak. And I saw that and I thought, wow, never seen that in the world. And a lot of these SUVs now, because it's brake cars, like I mentioned, you have a brake facility, you see, where if you push it, if you're too heavy-handed, the drive goes into brake, and that's what these silent starters are doing, you see. I must say that, like, I've had a look at the specs of the car, but I've got one. But, like, people ask me, you know, BS, so to speak. Thanks for your time, anyway.
Pleasure. How do Sheila? I'll do Sheila.
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
You said before what was our opinion of the concert tonight. I wasn't impressed at all. But that's just my opinion. I'm an elderly lady, and I looked at Camilla, and I thought, well, Camilla just feels, I can see by her face, she feels like that, like I do. There was only 3 people I knew on that, and I think it was earlier, but I was in the bathroom, I don't know. And I think he said, well, some of these young people, that they're not known, could be known in years to come. Well, they might be, but they could be dead. We could be dead then.
Right.
Because the king and queen are quite elderly, aren't they? So
they're not.
I wasn't impressed.
They're not chickens, that's for sure. But I suppose the idea is to give all the generations and all the genres of music and entertainment the opportunity to perform before the monarch, I guess.
Well, maybe, Alan, but I think a lot of these youngsters, I mean, I have a cousin and I texted her, I said, well, I'm not really impressed, and she sent me a text back. She said, no, neither am I. In fact, I might switch it off. So,
I suppose
and I looked at the 2
in the attempt to please all people, you end up pleasing nobody. That's kind of what we've found out over the years, isn't
well,
it?
exactly. But the poor little children, I thought, well, there's 2 children there. There was nothing really for them.
No.
I thought, God bless them. They should
Do you mean the royal children?
The 2 royal children, yeah.
They've just got to learn that's their life. That's
I
what
know, it's such a shame, though. I thought,
I know,
poor little
but
things. 1 9 and one is the other one about 7.
Mm.
And I thought, to sit through that tripe, I'm not being funny at them, but
no, you're all right,
I'm perhaps hard to suit, I don't know, but Andrea Torcelli was good. Well, I can't really stand Lionel Richie. I wanted to just take that, and they only sang 3 songs. I thought, why couldn't they entertain us half of it? Would have been better, really, for Sheila.
The trouble with that is, the trouble with that, it then turns into a Take That show, which is not what they wanted. There you go.
No, I know.
But as we say, if you try to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody.
Exactly, yeah. Anyway, I better go to sleep, Alan, if I can, with all that rubbish on my mind. I think I've wasted 2 hours tonight because I could have been watching something else.
Oh, well, such is life.
All right, love. God bless, Alan.
It's 60 years since you had to do it last time, Sheila, so good to hear from you. Have a good night. 2 hours of watching tripe. How do, Trevor?
Hello. That was good fun, wasn't it?
It was indeed.
That.
I was just thinking, people every Saturday and Sunday get 3 hours of listening to tripe. Anyway, well, you shall lift it, Trevor, I'm sure.
Oh, what? Yeah. Does the BBC still have a banned list? I'll tell you why I ask. I think you said the Horton Weavers version of Uncle Joe's Meatballs was a sanitised version. And knowing that Jason never makes mistakes, I wondered if the Mike Harding version had been, as it were, deleted from the available list.
No, I don't know whether it had been deleted, but certainly the Mike Harding version, as much as the lyric I managed to listen to is just Mike Harding's lyrics, the sanitisation was probably the wrong word. It was blandified.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
It didn't have the sort of Mike Harding caricatureness within it.
Right.
It was just
I understand.
some chap singing a song nicely.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea.
No,
but there you are.
fine.
Well, this is rather more energetic, should we say?
Yes. Only be disappointed by this, I expect. Only one cryptic crossword clue for you this weekend, Alan.
Yeah, but I am disappointed, but only half as disappointed as when there's 2.
Choose a tool for excavating 4 letters.
I don't know.
Pick.
Oh, very good. Yeah, pick.
A couple of other things I'd like to witter on about a bit, if I may. Local elections. I was kind of quite amused because the various ministers and party spokesmen for the government party spent a couple of weeks before the local elections saying things like, in a worst-case scenario, we could lose 1,000 seats. And most commentators, shall we say, political commentators, felt that they were coming up with that, thinking, oh, it'll never be as bad as that. And then we can say, oh, look, we only lost 684 or whatever. And it ended up being 1,060, and it just tickled me a bit. But the other thing is, always when we have local elections, it's kind of required, really, that people try and explain if that was replicated in a general election, it would mean that kind of thing. And it does seem to me that local elections are not generally good predictors of general elections. I mean, for a number of reasons. The turnout in local elections is often very low. Sometimes, I suspect in this case, but who knows, sometimes supporters of one party who are kind of disillusioned think we'll stay at home, won't bother, and then by the time it comes around to the general election, they may have a different view. And then there's all the independents who come into the equation, and parties like the Greens and the Liberal Democrats often do better in local elections than they do nationally. So I mean, it's interesting, but I'm not sure that you can really take much out of the local elections in terms of what will happen in 18 months' time or whenever.
Yeah, I think the pundits and the psephologists would agree with you.
And then I'd like to continue to witter on a bit about the aspects of the coronation. It was certainly a great spectacle. I watched some of it, not the kind of 8 hours of coverage, but it was a great spectacle, and it's difficult to disagree with those who say we do it better than anyone else would, really. We're good at spectacle. I'm amused by the merchandise that's been around, coronation crumpets, coronation sausage rolls with little crowns on, all that kind of stuff. But the one that particularly amused me was a train company that, for the purposes of the conversation, shall remain nameless, announced that to celebrate the coronation of King Charles III, a limited number of scones will be made available on a complimentary basis, indeed with a little jar of jam and a very small sachet of clotted cream. But they went on to say limited number, and of course only for first-class passengers. So
quite right too. Riff-raff eating afternoon tea on the train, for God's sake.
Well, exactly so. And then I'm always interested and a bit shocked, I suppose, by the amount of media coverage about Harry and the way they seem to try and how can I put it, talk him down, really. So they've had body language experts saying he looked nervous. They've had lip-reading experts saying really important things like, he said at one point, "Oh, that's interesting." Oh, really? Did he? Oh, well, there we are. And then they've been timing to the last second the amount of time he spent in the UK, 27 hours and 70 minutes, I think, but they've been timing that. And the one that topped it all, as it were, for me, was Christine Hamilton. Remember her? Saying, disgraceful, he wasn't wearing a British-made suit. Apparently, he was wearing a Dior suit. I wouldn't know that, but to say
perhaps he should have stayed in a French hotel and somebody would have given him $2,000 in an envelope.
But they do seem to enjoy having a go at Harry, or sections of the media seem to enjoy having a go at Harry. And more seriously, two final quick things, if I may. I am concerned about the arrests that were made. I mean, they included journalists, although apparently they're specifically excluded from the recent legislation. They included volunteers from a night safety team working in conjunction with the council and apparently the support of the Met, who were arrested for handing out rape alarms that might have been used in some nefarious way, but were kept in custody for some considerable time, despite the fact you would thought it'd be easy to check out their bona fides, as it were. So there was all of that. And frankly...
I don't know how easy it would be to check out the bona fides in the amount of time that's available to the Met. I'm not defending the Met. If you can find a reason for kicking them, you can borrow my clogs. But, it's to say that there's time to check it out, there would have to be a register somewhere against which such things could be checked. And at present, there isn't. I'm sure members of our current government would love for them to be such a list where we're all on it and we can be checked instantly, rather like motor car drivers, but I don't think it's easy to check it out.
Okay. That
doesn't justify or not what they've done, but that side of it I don't think is fair.
And personally, I think there was a degree of overreaction, is how I would put it, from the Met. I understand that that there's a need for caution, but arresting people for wearing T-shirts, arresting journalists, and so on, it seems to me not something we should be doing. That's
well, indeed, but they got very strong guidance from the government.
Well. Yeah.
I mean, as I say, I'm happy to give the Met another kicking. Anyone that wants to do it, I have clogs available. But they are following the direction of the government of the day. The government passed fast legislation to give them extra powers to do that which they did. And I said, I don't know whether you listen at the top, it doesn't matter, but I said at the beginning that in Russia, you criticise Putin, you get arrested. In the United Kingdom, you criticise the coronation, you get arrested. It's good to be free.
Yeah, well, quite. And you can imagine the propaganda use that might be made of some of the pictures by, people like Putin, I suppose. And the final thing I wanted to say, if I may, was I'm kind of concerned by the lack of tolerance to other people's views. I'm in danger of being close to your view about the monarchy, and I'm not a monarchist. If anything, I'm a Republican, but I don't know that there's a ready answer for a more sensible and appropriate system, really. But I do think people should be free to express their view, and just to say that people like Lee Anderson, the deputy chair of the Conservative Party, who is big on freedom of speech, or at least freedom of speech, it seems, when it suits him, saying that anybody who doesn't agree with the monarchy should emigrate. And I think, that's not what our country should be about. We should be open to and tolerant of varying views, even if we don't like them.
Including one might rather mischievously suggest to you, someone who says if you don't like the Constitution, get out. Perfectly valid view.
I accept his right to say it, but I think it speaks of a general lack of tolerance for views he disagrees with. And I don't like that.
No, I can take the I don't like it, but to say people should be entitled to express their view, and then you express yours that he shouldn't say his, it's a horrible circle, but do have a good night.
Well, who better than you to point it out?
Indeed so. I live in the middle of a horrible circle. Have a good night. How do Mike?
Your comments about the concert were interesting. By the same token, you might be interested in Margaret's observation at this end. As she watched it on the television, I happened to be there at the time, and she observed, well, the king is clapping, but the queen is not. So that adds just a little to what you said, perhaps.
Okay.
The other thought that came to me is, You seem to think that they may not be able to hear it very well. I don't know whether you were being sarcastic about this.
I think they would have had trouble seeing it, and I'm sure they had slave speakers in the vicinity, but the length of time the town takes to travel, they'd have been seeing it late.
Yeah. Usually these ghastly things are so desperately loud that it's grim to have to bear them, isn't it? After a few minutes, most of these live performances are just too loud, aren't they? Do you find?
I don't go to that many, to be honest, and people like it.
Yeah. They do, but it's very bad for you. It can be very harmful. I was also interested, Alan, in what was said about sweets of yesteryear, and just to mention a few that you might recall. Do you remember sugar zoos?
No.
Those little those sugary things that were like in the shapes of animals. I remember there was a seal, there was a donkey, there were, quite a few of them.
No, I don't remember those.
No, you don't remember those. You will, on the other hand, remember pineapple chunks.
Yeah, you can still get them.
Yes, you can. But the point. This is a point of intrigue. If these things have gone out of general production, do I assume that the few shops who do specialise in these things are getting them from manufacturers who are not in the mainstream? How does it work?
Well, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what the mainstream is. They're certainly not the multinationals who tend to want to, if you like, homogenise everything. But there are still small producers who produce old-fashioned style sweets.
So they are coming from small producers. Are they in this country?
Well, I can't speak for all of them. I know a couple of them are. But they may all do. Uncle Joe's Mint Balls is still in this country. He's in Wigan.
Yes, as you mentioned in Wigan, yeah.
Fishermen's Friends, they export stuff all over the world, the Fishermen's Friends.
Yeah. Because the EU wrecked we're allowed to mention it by name, the Victory V. Now, they used to be fabulously strong, if you like that sort of thing, but they're now very limp, aren't they? Do you like them?
I can't remember the last time I consumed such a thing.
Yeah, I like nothing better than a happy afternoon with a whole packet of those things. I thought they were wonderful. You need some local elections, Alan. Surely the success or the decimation suffered by the Conservative Party, the spoils were divided you could even say fairly evenly between the Liberal Dems and the Labour Party, in the sense that if the Labour Party were really going to wipe the floor in the next election, and it would be obvious that this was such, they would have already had very much the lion's share. Would you think?
Well, Chris, I've forgotten his name, but the BBC political correspondent made the point that on the sort of percentage of vote, it would be touch and go as to whether the Labour Party could form a majority government. So that was his view.
Yeah, that made sense that makes sense to me when I heard him say that. I presume it does to you. Yeah. There's time for recovery and for the election to be, if such is the right description, an exciting prospect, not a walkover that we'd expected, say, a couple of months ago.
I follow the Harold Wilson principle. The week's a long time in politics, and the election's many, many months away. So we'll have to see what happens between then and now. I know the Tory mouthpieces have been running round saying, yes, but it's all changed because Richie's doing this, that and the other. And the Labour mouthpieces are running round saying, come off it, he's been the Chancellor before this and he buggered up the economy. So, and then the Lib Dems are saying, I wonder which way it'll go when we get to election. I think I implied last night they were saying something like go home and prepare for government, which is David Steele's rather ludicrous expression some time ago.
Well, we remember that. And Orpington as well, and all those sort of successes flash in the pans. And I don't know about Uncle Joe's mint balls, Alan, but I think we might rustle up some prawn balls, pork balls for supper, which could be interesting.
I don't suppose the pigs would like it, but yeah.
Talk to you on Saturday, perhaps.
Have a good night. How do, Alan?
Oh, hello, Alan. All right.
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Yeah. The only thing what about it for the coronation yesterday was I wanted to listen to the Scottish Guards and all them, but the commentators on all the channels, they was just talking over them.
I know. Yeah, it's weird, but that's what telly does, really, and radio.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded listening to them, but like about 20 minutes. But they was telling what they was playing, but they was talking over it a bit, and it annoyed me. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, like you said about Lionel Richie tonight doing the concert. I'd just like to listen to him as well.
Right. And did you not? What happened that meant you couldn't listen to him?
Well, for a start, I wanted to listen to the start of your show.
Well, I apologise for not coordinating with the aforementioned American, but there wasn't somebody talking over Mr. Richie, was there?
No, but I just didn't bother with concert. I just thought after yesterday and today enough, Yeah. All right, Alan. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. I'll do Tony.
Hey, Alan. You okay?
Very well, thank you.
This coronation that's just gone on. It was all screen yesterday on the BBC. Why was it on 3 channels?
Because each of the channels...
BBC 2.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Go on.
It doesn't matter. I suppose the programmers of each of the 3 channels thought they can't beat them, so join them.
Well, I'm on that. I'm a pro-royalist, if you like.
Okay.
Well, I've met friends and people I meet and have a drink with. They said they won't put the telly on till Tuesday, so it's all over.
Okay.
And then they can watch. Well, it could be buy TV on and everything else. It's all pro-royal. But why did BBC have to show it on 3 channels?
I didn't know that the BBC did show it on 3 channels, and even if I did know that,
BBC 1, BBC 2, and the BBC News channel, all showing the same pictures.
Well, I don't know why they chose to do that, but I think, I've just been told, I think by Talat, our producer, that they showed it on BBC 1 for the general audience. On BBC 2, they included sign language.
Yes, yeah.
So that's why it was on the 2nd channel. It was Jason that told us, not Talat. God knows what Talat was doing. It's his job, but no matter. Anyway, but that's why it was on BBC 2 also. So they would have the pictures and they would have the commentary in sign language.
Yeah, I've got that. Right, Alan. But then they had it on the news channel to make...
Well, to be frank, I started the programme today, this evening. I've been looking at the Sunday newspapers, as I do, and you're buggered if you can find a story that's not about the coronation. So that is the story of the day. It is the news story of the day, and one wonders what the news channel would have been showing if it hadn't have been showing the coronation. What else happened? Answer, nothing.
Yeah, I get that. But
So
BBC One...
BBC One showed it because that's the channel for such mass population entertainment. BBC Two showed it so that the people who require sign language in order to enjoy the commentary were able to do so. Whereas if they put that on BBC One, that would be distracting for people like me who've got reasonably good hearing. And BBC News Channel, because that was the news story of the day. So that's the answer to your question.
Thank you. Cheers, Alan. I'll see you next week.
Well, this is not visual, but we'll certainly communicate if you wish. How do, Ted?
All right, Alan, kid. Just to say, you're going to Canada, aren't you?
I am.
Well, there's a place called Wyoming in Canada.
Wyoming's in America, the USA.
I thought Wyoming's in Canada.
Well, you may well have thought it, and your thought would have been inaccurate. Wyoming is an American state.
Well, in Wyoming, they've got a giant tree, and it's turned to stone over billions and billions and billions of years ago. It was a giant tree. It was a giant tree, and it's been cut off at the top. No, I don't know where that went.
No.
But it's in Wyoming in Canada.
No, wait, hang on. Yeah, will you tell me what are you saying? Wyoming?
Wyoming, that's it. Wyoming.
Wyoming is in the United States of America.
Is it? I don't know, but there's a giant tree there, Alan.
Well, there may well be. I was just that's fine. I'm not denying there's a giant tree, but you keep referring to Wyoming as being in Canada, which it isn't.
You don't believe in ghosts, do you, Alan?
Correct.
And you don't believe in spaceships, do you?
Well, I have to believe in them. We make them and send them into space.
Yeah, well, we're sending them out now, where they were coming here.
Well,
no, we're sending our ones out, aren't we?
Well, the second part of your question, are we sending out spaceships, or ships, if you like, into space? The answer is yes. The first bit, the premise of your question was that they were coming this way also. No, I don't think they are.
They're not coming here.
I don't think they are.
I've seen them, Alan.
Well, I don't doubt that 1 minute, but they're still not coming here.
Well, we're in the universe, aren't we?
Yes.
And there's loads of planets like this one that we're on.
But you see, you told me you don't need to convince me with the statistics and all the rest of that nonsense. If you've seen one, it would be interesting to hear what you saw.
Well, we're sending out scouts now, aren't we? People to other planets to colonise.
No, we're not.
Well, don't you think that's the purpose?
Well, what I'm saying is we are not doing that. We are not sending out scouts to colonise other planets. That may be the long-term view of getting people to go to other planets in 100, 1,000, who knows how many years. But the idea that we are at the moment sending people out as pioneers, if you like, to other planets, no, we're not.
Well, some science fiction writers that have wrote science fiction have come true, haven't they?
Indeed so. Some of them have. And of the 10,000 science fiction writers, 3 of them have managed to make some predictions of certain things. The other 9,997 wrote complete and utter bollocks. Do have a good night. 0800 218 2255 if you want to join us. How do, Helen?
It was lovely to see you know as
Hello,
well.
Helen.
Hello. Hi, love.
Hello.
Yeah, you all right? I was just thinking about that, what I was going to say to you then. Hi, Alan. It's Helen. First off, I also want to say I was thinking then about the woman, that was on before, about the concert and everything like that. The concert was absolutely fabulous.
Was it?
And I'm 75, and I was there for the last last coronation.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I was only 5 then, and stuff like that. And this one was exceptional.
Was it?
It really was.
What did you like about it?
I liked everything about it, really, because of the way they done it. It was everything surrounding him, with what he done, nature-wise.
Yeah.
Different things, everything like that. And it really, really was. And when they lit up all the, the stage and everything, with animals and, how can I put it? All sorts of animals. Put it that way. What he likes. He does a lot for them. The animals.
Yeah, he's very much into the environment, isn't he?
Is.
And global warming and all of that. Yeah.
And do you know what? The only thing I didn't like about it, honestly, was, do you know what? The whole lot, even the kids. She said there was no kids there. There was children there. There was, Prince William's children were there, and there was other children there as well at the back. Edward's children, and stuff like that. There was different children that were there, stuff like that. And they were all made up. It was lovely. But Camilla was the one had a sour face, really.
I think that's just her resting face, as it were. But to be honest, I saw
her going around, to these charities and everything. She's got a big smile on her face and everything. But tonight, for some reason, she never. And the only time I seen a little smile was when Charles spoke to her. There and stuff like that. But you know what? Honestly, she really. Whether she had too much to drink yet last night, I don't.
That's
know what I mean?
Possible.
Which it might have been that, she had a hangover.
But if she's not enjoying it, I quite like the idea that if she's not enjoying it, she doesn't bother pretending she is.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's the king, and she really should make an effort, shouldn't she?
Well,
don't say no, because you would. If your wife that was queen or something like that, would you sit there like a miserable old cow?
Well,
something like that.
That's not a term we want to use for another woman, is it?
Sorry,
really?
but you
it's
wouldn't,
okay.
would you? Me.
What I'm trying to get you to consider is that she may well have been sitting there absolutely hating every second of it, and to get to a place where she looks just, oh God, this is awful, is quite an achievement. So the journey she's made from what she really thinks might be a massive step to get to the straight, almost unresponsive face that you say she displayed. So you have to think where she starts. So
I'm her age, but she's a year older than me.
But her age is irrelevant. It's what effort she has had.
That lady that was on before, she was younger than me, and she goes, "Oh, I hate this." This, the other.
Well, everybody has different tastes.
Yes, I understand that as well. We were all young at one time.
Well, that doesn't mean we have to put up with the buggers that are now.
A little bit of music and whatever, take
Helen,
that, whatever.
Helen,
yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, that's fine, and I'm glad you did. But to suggest that because you did, then the Queen should have done as well, or at least she should have pretended she did, I'd rather have a bit of honesty out of some famous person from time to time, to be honest.
Yeah, because I know I understand that because I've always liked her. Don't get me wrong. I don't dislike her or nothing like that.
You just called her a miserable old cow.
Stuff like that. No, I'm sorry about that.
Well, no, but I'm not bothered about her. I don't suppose she'll lose any sleep. But you say, I really like her, but she's a miserable old cow. They don't fit together.
I never said she was. I said she was like one.
Oh, right. Oh, well, she's not one. She's just like one, yeah.
And I just thought,
that's all right,
you know what I mean? No, I do like her. I've seen what she does, in private and everything like that,
How have you... Hang on. Helen, how have you seen what she does in private? It was in private.
No, sorry. Oh, gosh. Alan, stop doing that. Right, not in private, but on the television, the news.
Right.
When she goes around and she's just different things, and...
well, she's enjoying that.
Yeah, I understand that as well. And I understand it. And I know she's gone through a lot here, getting to where she is now, with everything that's being said about her, and stuff like that. So that's something, I don't hold against her now. A lot of people have been married before, divorced, whatever, got married, this, that and the other, and stuff like that. So I haven't got nothing like that against her. Anything, but I just couldn't understand why she couldn't even crack a smile tonight.
Because she didn't want to, because it was horrid. Why should she lie?
It wasn't horrid, it was lovely.
No. Perhaps I should say to you... What I should say to you, Helen, is why didn't you think and show a face as if it was crap? And the answer is because you liked it. She showed a face that made you think she didn't like it. That's... right and proper.
No, I didn't think. I thought something was not right, between them. Or something like that. There was something not right.
All right, well, perhaps they're going to get divorced. Perhaps they're going to get divorced. I've had enough of this Queen palaver. I've had a few months of it. I'm sick of it. I'm getting rid. I'm getting the Brigadier back.
I don't want to just ask you that now. I'm just going to ask you a personal question now, right?
Go on, then. I rarely answer those.
You tell me, my husband died last April, right? And everything like that. And he has got 2 other children, right? Now, I have been trying to get in touch with them for a long, long time, for this whole year, and I can't get in touch with them. I've got phone numbers, I've got addresses, I've got everything. And the only way I was thinking of having to do it here was, could I get in touch with somebody, on one of the radios, like Radio Merseyside, somebody like that, to ask, could they put any sort of thing out? They live in Newcastle and stuff like that, because they don't know their dad's passed.
Oh, dear.
Honestly. And
right.
It's really hurt me because I've been and I've been ringing, and I just don't know what to do here to get in touch with them.
The phone numbers that you've got and you're ringing, when you ring...
Yeah.
When you ring, what happens?
No one's ringing. I've got mobile numbers. I've got their addresses, their home addresses. I've got their numbers, like that. There's 3 of them, really.
Okay, let me stop you a second. So let's see if we can go through this orderly. So you said... I've got their phone numbers, and you said I've rung. And you said I've rung the numbers.
Yes.
What do you hear when you ring the number?
It's ringing, but no answer.
No answer. There's not an answer phone or anything of that ilk.
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
I've even got.
That's fine. No. If you just give me the answers and then we'll stop. Yeah.
All right.
Right. You say you've got the addresses.
Yes.
Have you written?
No.
Well, there's the next step, isn't it?
The reason I haven't rang is because I haven't been too good, and I've been a little bit housebound.
Well, I get that. Yeah. I understand that, but you've rung the telephone number, got no reply, so you didn't get number unobtainable. So the number is not.
No, nothing at all. No.
We've gone.
So I'm trying to find out who.
No, I'm confused now because now you're saying you get nothing at all. A few seconds ago you told me it just carried on ringing.
I haven't. I'm not getting anything at all when I ring.
Helen, please, when you say I asked you what happened. I don't want to know what you think happened. I want to know what does happen. When you ring, first of all, does the number ring out? You know, brr, brr, brr. It does. And nobody replies.
No.
Right, so that's nobody picks the phone up. So that's not nothing at all. That is something. Next question, and it's a simple one. Is it a mobile number that you have or a landline number? Or a landline? I'm sorry? You've got
both of them.
Okay. And
mobile and landline.
But you get no answer from either of them?
No answer.
Okay. And a mobile number, usually, but not always, has an automatic, the person is not available, please leave a message. That doesn't happen.
Yes. No, nothing like that.
Okay. With the mobile number, have you tried sending a text?
No, I haven't.
Right, well, that's the next one, isn't it? You send a text, and they'll get that.
Yes, do that tomorrow. Not a problem.
Okay. So to the mobile.
It's because I need to get in touch with them. You know what I mean? We'd moved house from the last time. This spread was my second husband's wife, and, you know, and I'm thinking nothing. But these children, you know, they are lovely children as well, like, and everything, and I'm thinking why? Because they were in touch. And then all of nothing, and I can't get in touch with them to tell them.
Right, well, we're working through how you might be able to, so the next thing to do is to send a text. Now, don't say in the text, please contact me because your dad's dead.
No, I won't do that, don't worry.
So say, I'm trying to contact you, I have some information for you, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And let them
Only because at the time, I was with Fred, you know, and I was with him for 43 years. And he was married, you know, with these children, whatever. And she died, you know, his wife. And they sent the police, you know, to my house. And because he was away at sea, and I was like away, you know, and I thought it was something that was to do with Fred, and that. But it wasn't that. It was because his wife had died. I can't say over the phone what.
When you say his wife, do you mean his wife or his ex-wife?
No, well, his ex-wife. Sorry, yes.
It's okay. It's just facts.
Yeah.
So we've got to the stage where you're trying. So we've got to the stage where you're trying to get in touch with them. Ringing them on the telephone is not working. You have a mobile number and you're going to send a text.
I've done everything, yes.
No, you haven't done everything. You've not done a text.
Sorry, no, I haven't done the text. I'm sorry,
right, so that's the next step, doing a text. So send a text to the mobile numbers, inviting them to get in touch with you because you have some information. And if that doesn't work, then the next step, given that you have their addresses, is to write a letter. Just a simple letter saying, I'm trying to get in touch with you because I have some information for you.
Yeah, even my son's tried. I've got a son.
Listen, if everybody on the planet's tried and failed, this is the process to go through next. We're trying to take you forward rather than look back.
But I didn't know whether I could go through the radio to ask them could they go get in touch with a radio station in North Shields, you know, that way. One was in Sunderland.
Well, you can get other people to do the job for you if you like, but it's your job.
Yeah, it was just one of them.
The radio's Helen.
All right, love.
Not many radio stations do missing persons, otherwise they would spend their time. If somebody from Newcastle rang this programme and said, can I announce that I'm trying to get in touch with such and such a body, I would say, no, you can't. Get off.
All right, that's fine.
Because otherwise we'd spend our time having a list of people from all over the damn place saying, can I get in touch with my grandma? Can I get in touch? And everybody would be bored out their skull. So we're going through the process that might work.
Yeah, that's fine, and I will do that, Alan.
So try a text, and if that doesn't work, then try a letter. If that doesn't work, if all else fails, the Salvation Army have a...
For that as well. I have
You've done
thought
that?
about
You've thought about it. Have you?
Yeah.
If all that...
I want to do it, yes. I thought I'll try and find out ways that I can try and get in touch with them before I do that. You know, and phone the Salvation Army. You know, because I would like to know how they got in touch with their dad. You know, when his wife died and everything like that, which they did. And the police come to the house. You know, and stuff like that. And stuff like that. So that's gone through my mind as well, to get in touch with them. And so I will do what you've said to do. And, you know, I really appreciate that as well.
Okay, good luck with it, Alan. I'll do Audrey.
Oh, hi, Alan. Hi. I was just going to ask you what you thought about the elections on Thursday. Did you vote, by the way?
No.
Did you use your vote? Pardon?
I didn't have a vote.
Oh, right.
I live in Wales.
Oh, of course. Sorry, I was thinking you were still in Warrington. I keep forgetting you've moved.
Yeah.
No, I was.
If I lived in England, I would have voted.
Good. I was at the AJ Bell on Thursday, and the turnout for the elections was particularly low, and I just wondered. We friends of ours, we just wondered. You know, the reason, is it apathy? People can't be bothered. Have they arrived at the polling stations without their ID? Because you can't just use your works ID. It has to be a passport or driving licence or bus pass. Perhaps people got there and thought you hadn't got their ID or the wrong one, and they thought, oh, I'm going home. I can't be bothered going back. But some boroughs, it was as low as 16%. And I just wondered the reason. Are people disheartened?
Well, to be fair, the local elections are usually considerably lower in turnout than the national election, the general election. So that's not unusual. 16, I don't know what the normal turnout in Salford is, but it's rather like often the outcome of the election, apart from those who are wary, the outcome of the election is sorted, really. You know, I mean, it's Salford, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
the chances of Salford getting turned to a Conservative council overnight is quite slim. So, some people say, well, it's not going to change. My vote's not worth anything. I go along. And it's that kind of apathy. In the general election, it's slightly different. People are more engaged.
So I just wondered whether it was anything to do with people having to produce their ID.
It could well have been. It could so easily have been. But, you know, without them telling us, we don't know. The number of people turned away, I mean, actually refused their vote because they didn't have the correct identification, insofar as we can tell, was a small proportion.
Was it?
But that doesn't mean there wasn't another much larger proportion that thought, I haven't got ID, I'm not going. If I've got to go through all that rigmarole to vote, I can't be bothered.
True, possibly, yes, okay, right. The other thing I was going to ask you, have you got a bucket list of what do you intend to do if you finish in August? Just enjoy yourself?
I enjoy myself working. I haven't got a bucket list now.
Holidays?
Well, I'm going on holiday next month. I already garden, so I walk a lot already. I might do a bit more of that. I don't know. Well, it's not like I work. I only work 2 nights a week.
Okay, yeah. So you're not going to turn into a couch potato?
No more than I am now. My life will continue. Saturday nights will be different. I'll be able to have my meal at a slightly later time than 4 o'clock. You know, so on Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
That's the only change.
If they ask you, if they extend your contract or whatever, will you stay on? Happy to stay on?
Yes, if they require me to stay, I'll stay. Dear God, it's only 6 hours a week. You can do it standing on your head.
Of course. Yeah. Well, let's hope so. Okay, Alan. Keep up the good work.
Well, keep up some work anyway. Good to talk to you, Audrey. 0800 218 2255. You wonder what all that was about at the end. My contract ends at the end of May. We've discussed this before, but they've now asked me to stay on until August, the end of August, and I've accepted. And the terminology is the end of August at the soonest, so it may be slightly longer than that. It's dependent on when the major changes that you may or may not be aware are coming into BBC Local Radio. It's when those changes come in, because quite frankly, I am not about to start a new career. You know, by that I mean a new programme. I'll carry on doing this one if it's there and if they want me to, but if they wanted me to do something else, the answer is no. I've done that. I've done breakfast programme, I've done afternoon programme, I've done all that. I'm 70 odd, it's time, you know, to have a look round and see what there is else to do, such as not have me tea at 4 o'clock on a bloody Saturday and Sunday. 0800 218 2255. And also, this sounds daft, you know, the kind of things that happen in your life. When our cats died a few years ago, one of the reasons we didn't replace them, you know, and get some more cats, was because of the freedom that the death of our cats allocated. And that was, I worked full time then, I worked 5 days a week. And it meant at weekends we could go away. And we did. And then I started doing this. So that put the mockers on that. So be able to go away for the weekends rather than going away like midweek, like some kind of, I don't know what. Any road, 0800 218 2255. But this programme is here until the end of August at the soonest. But for most, I'm here now until the first Sunday in June, and then I'm away in Canada and won't be back until the first weekend in July, which I think might be the 1st of July. And whilst I'm away, there's a man coming to wreck 2 bedrooms, put staircases in and wardrobes, and so we're glad to be out the joint. But anyway, there you are. How do, Beverly?
Morning, Alan. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
I've just come on to say about the coronation. I mean, I watched it, some of it. It was very long, wasn't it, and drawn. My grandson told his mum, we haven't watched the coronation. So she puts the coronation on Saturday, and he sits there, and then he gets up, he gets bored.
Yeah.
So what has happened in school, they'd said to him, the coronation is on, so they'd mentioned it in school, so he, Mum, I've got to watch, and he got bored halfway through, so he went to play on his tablet.
Anyway, the lady...
Yeah. He came in for the crowning, he came back to when they put the crowns on. Anyway, there's a lady just been on, I won't mention, there's a magazine out that you can buy. I don't know whether she can buy it where she lives, but it's a magazine that can get in touch with people and help you get in touch with people if you're struggling. I know you've given other things out of Salvation Army and that, you know, but I don't know if I'm allowed to mention the magazine on the radio.
It's probably best not, because it sounds like advertising, and then we'll get all sorts of nonsense thrown at us.
Yeah. Anyway, if she's got time, maybe look at the magazines in the newsagents and that, and maybe she'll be able to find something. Anyway, I feel sorry for Talit sometimes.
Well, don't.
It's the way that you say things, you know, about her. Poor Talit, is he strong enough to take all that?
Well, if he's not, he needs to toughen up a bit. And if he doesn't want to be criticised, he needs to do something right.
Yeah.
If I suddenly disappear, you know he's doing something right.
Anyway,
we're a team. We are a team on this programme, and it's just a trio of victims.
Are you sure you're on till August, Alan, with Talit and that?
I'll be lucky to make 1 o'clock now.
Anyway, I just come on to ask about the screens. You know, they put the screens around with the anointing. Was that more for embarrassing's sake, you know, or it wouldn't be nice to see him getting the oil put on his chest and things like that because he's the king. Was that the reason?
I suppose so. I think it's just another bit of theatre, isn't it?
Probably. Yeah. I did think that he played it low-key, though, and he put it on at the right time because we've got Eurovision now, haven't we, in Liverpool? And I do think that it blended in. He didn't want just the day just to stand out. And I do think that he did play it low-key. That's just my opinion.
Perhaps lower key than some would have done, but I don't think you can call taking over a cathedral and having the whole of the armed forces march round as low key.
No.
It was loud and proud, but it wasn't as big as the last lot. But anyway, you know, if you like that kind of thing, it was a brilliant day of pageantry, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Good on you, Beverly.
Thanks for having me.
And as for Eurovision, you said it's next Saturday. Of course, there's a lot happens before then, and if you want to keep up with Eurovision, then you can do it on BBC Radio Merseyside, because they are very steeply, I should say we really, but I'm only a third of me is Radio Merseyside. And next Saturday night, because of Eurovision and because of Radio Merseyside's deep involvement in it, we will only be doing this programme on the two remainders, Lancashire and Manchester. Merseyside audiences will get Eurovision next Saturday, quite right too. But there's lots of Eurovision stuff on BBC Radio Merseyside right through this week. I mean, even with the arrival of the bods coming today and tomorrow. And then I think there's I don't know Eurovision. I don't watch Eurovision. I don't keep up with it. I can't bear it. That's neither in there. But there are a couple of knockouts, aren't there? There's all the rehearsals they've got to have, and then there are a number of rounds, if you like, before they get to the big finale on Saturday. So if you're in any way interested in Radio Mersey, in Eurovision, normally on TV at least, you just get it happening on the Saturday. But there's a lot goes on the week before, and all of that is being covered by BBC Radio Merseyside this week. So if you are a Eurovision fan, then you can fill your boots this week without any difficulty at all on BBC Radio Merseyside. And I think you'll love it. I think you will. I would hate it. I'd rather hang by my eyelids. But, you know, I can't expect everybody to have my high-quality tastes. Shut up. 0800 218 222 005. How do, Jacqueline?
Good morning, Alan. You know, they're going on criticising Camilla for looking bored or whatever. Do you know, after what all of them have been through for the last goodness knows how long, she must be totally knackered. Have they ever taken that into consideration? She was knackered, and this is the last thing she wanted to do, was to listen to a load of garbage with a load of screaming people. Anyway, that's something different. And I call her Millie. You know, Millie, Camilla, Millie. It's not nicer, it's a lot nicer. What I wanted to talk to you about is, do you know that the Welsh Government are going to reband the council tax?
I didn't know that.
Well, they did it 20 years ago. In England, they said, we're going to do this, and then they changed their mind, and they didn't do it. But the Welsh Assembly at the time, they said, well, we're going to do it. But it was a double whammy, because not only did your council tax go up for the yearly thing, it went up to another band. And that's what is going to happen in 2025.
Well, if it does happen, it will be rebanding, and one presumes that some houses, some properties will be a lower band, because there's still only the range of alphabetic standards, so there's only 4 or 5 bands, so some will go up, some will come down.
But more go up than down. I mean, to be honest, the Welsh Government, as they're called now, they're not really good with money.
Right.
They bought the airport, didn't they? In Cardiff. Yeah, they bought the Cardiff airport.
Right.
And then after they bought it, they had to plough another few £1 million into it because it was losing so much money, and they had to do. And then a couple of months ago, they bought a mansion or something. I can't remember what it was for, but it was some sort of cultural thing, and they spent £6 million on that. I mean, 6 million for something that was not even going to be viable. And they're not to be trusted with money. They're not. And I'm dreading 2025 because you, as you just said, you're going to have staircase and all sorts of things, and your banding will go up quite a lot of money.
No, Jacqueline, I didn't say your banding will go up. You did.
Well, I know it because it did last time.
No. Your sentence was, as you said, your banding will... I didn't say it'll go up, you did. I haven't said that. I don't know whether it will or not. I don't predict.
Sorry. I mean, I suggest your banding will go up. Because mine did. And everybody I knew, unless you lived in, a one up and one down derelict cottage, it didn't go up. But if you had a perfectly normal house...
Well, who defines what is perfectly normal?
Well, there's a fellow down the road. He pays...
No, that's not... No. My question was, who defines what is perfectly normal?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everybody has a garage but him.
Well, I'll ask you again. Who decides what is perfectly normal? Do you know? Would you like to define a perfectly normal house to me, please?
Something you can walk into and live in it.
Right, so that's a one-bedroom, one up and down terraced house. That's a perfectly normal house in your view?
No, that isn't.
Okay, so let me try again and ask you. You used the expression perfectly normal house, and I asked you what that was, and you started to tell me about a bloke without a garage. So I'll ask you again. So that I understand what it is you were saying, when you say a perfectly normal house, what is that? Please tell me. Define for me your version of a perfectly normal house.
Well, something in good condition, livable, and that's it.
So far, that could still be a 2 up, 2 down terraced house, which you just said isn't perfectly normal house. So try again.
I can't.
Okay.
I can't.
Well, when you come back on, if ever you do, use language that we can all understand rather than what's going on in your imagination. 0800 218 2255. How do Anne?
Hiya.
Hiya.
I'd like to talk about Richie's lovely song.
Well, can I just stop you a second? Will you turn either your radio, television, or whatever it is in the background off? So that we be able to hear you properly, Anne.
Yes. I'd like to say about Lionel Richie's song was lovely.
Okay. Was it?
I thought so, yes. I'm not a royalist, really. But I'm 85 years of age, and I got a letter the other week off the city council, and my council tax is more or less doubled. I live on my own. I'm 85. I live in a little bungalow on my own. And part of me rent base has been split as well. But regards to that, what I'm saying is, Lionel Richie's song was so lovely. But I think Charlie and Melissa or whatever her name is, the song they should have had sung, in my eyes, and my favourite singer in the world, it should have been My Way. Because they have done it their way, haven't they?
Oh, for God's sake, yes, they have. It hasn't always pleased everybody either.
They've done it their way.
Just so we know, what song did Lionel Richie sing that pleased you so much, Anne?
I can't remember that now.
Oh, not to
can't
worry,
remember this.
Oh, you have to remember that you liked it, isn't it? But My Way would have been a cracker, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? And the two of them was a smile, that one, because they never did at the coronation, did they?
No, well, I don't think they're allowed at the coronation. Although I did see. I don't honestly. I think they have to pretend that they're dignified. But Camilla smiled a few times during the coronation, and the cameras picked it up.
I got a little text on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
With Camilla with a big. What was that thing, that jammy thingy, Phil, what was the name? He was driving his mouth, a big cigarette, a big cigar.
Oh, right.
Jimmy
right.
Savile.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Jimmy
yeah.
Savile.
Yeah, well,
And I got one on my phone where Camilla's eyes are wide open and she got the thing and she looks the image of Jimmy Savile.
Oh dear. Well, let's not talk too much about that recollection. Anne, it must have been. We'd have been better. You'd have been better off saying he looked like Harpo Marx. He had a big cigar as well. But Anne, lovely to hear from you. Have a good night. So there you are. The condemnation of the night. We won't repeat it. Well, I won't. You can please yourself. 0800 218 2255. If you want to join us, that's good. I heard this record for the first time in the 1980s, and our then head of music, it was when I was at an earlier radio station, our head of music, I'm so incompetent with music that our head of music, a guy called Dave Lincoln, always used to choose music that I would like rather than something that he thought I'd encouraged to be it. I used to have it as what we called my record of the week. I never chose it once. Anyway, this one was chosen for me, and I rather liked it. I like the dumpy dumpy dump dumpy dump. It's Crystal Gale. Take me to the dance. It's all right.
To the dance, to the dance, to the dance. Take me to the dance, to the dance, to the dance. I really wanna go with you, dance slow with you, baby. I'll wear a dress of lace, it won't be out of place. I know your suit is blue, I look good next to you. I only want the best in town, so don't turn me down, baby. No one see us dancing in the corner. And when the night is over, I'm gonna talk you into more. So take me to the dance, to the dance, to the dance. Take me to the dance, to the dance, to the dance. I really wanna go with you, dance slow with you, baby. No one see us dancing in the corner. When the night is over, I'm gonna talk you into more. Amène-moi à la boum, à la boum, à la boum. Amène-moi à la boum, à la boum, à la boum. Je vous aller avec toi, danser doucement, baby. Take me to the dance, to the dance, to the dance. Take me to the dance, to the dance, to the dance. I really wanna go with you, dance slow with you, baby. Amène-moi à la boum, à la boum, à la boum. Amène-moi à la boum, à la boum, à la boum. Je vous aller avec toi, danser doucement, baby. Take me to the dance, to the dance.
Yes, I recognise that it is somewhat repetitive, but I just like the beat. I don't know why. It's just do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I like, I suppose, in the main, precise music rather than that sort of melodic stuff. You know, if you were listening earlier, we played the Horton Weavers version of Mike Harding's Uncle Joe's Mint Balls, and theirs was quite melodic, and I just thought, yuck. I prefer music that speaks for itself. Do you know what I mean? That's what I like. Anyway, yes, indeed. I'm just reminding everybody that the team let me down again. 0800 218 2255. No, I won't. No, you won't. You just have to guess what you told me to do. I'm just saying I'm not going to do it. I'll do Tom.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, Tom.
Hello. I'm calling from St. Helens today. It's not a great place, but I'd like to talk to you about the monarchy and with the whole coronation stuff going on, and just really get your opinion on it, if I could.
Well, tell me yours.
Well, personally, I'm not a huge fan. I think it takes too much money when there's people in these streets of St. Helens starving, homeless, and everything's just there's stuff going on everywhere, Alan, and they're kind of taking the mick a bit. We've got 250 million on the coronation when we've got a cost of living crisis going on, and everything's kind of ruined. The country's in a state in general. It's not great.
Okay.
What do you think about it?
I think you have a perfectly valid opinion. Others would disagree with you, but that's fine.
Thank you all.
Have a good night. I'll do Maureen.
Hello, Alan. I watched some of the concert. I think it was a bit mixed, really. I mean, I like the ballet and I like the opera, but individually they didn't seem to be any good together. I just think that the Queen was very cold, and she was pensive, and I think she must have. I think they'd had a few words.
Really?
He seemed to be enjoying it. He didn't pay any attention to her. Apart from he just leaned over, and I think she was cold and needed to go to the loo, and had said to him, I told you to bring my coat, didn't I? And you have not changed since Friday. And so I think that she was frozen because she only had a short-sleeved thin frock, unless she had thermal stuff underneath. But I think she needed a jacket because she's I don't know, she's about 76 now, and she would feel the cold.
I don't know how old she is.
She's about 70. I don't know. I think she's a bit older than him. But, I think he was paying no attention to her. Now he's king. I just think, she said, I'm freezing to death. And he said, what do you want me to do about it? I can't go. Where can I go now? I can't do anything. I can't. I'm freezing. And that's what it was. I think she was sitting so tight to herself, And I don't know whether she was actually looking at the concert. Because if you're cold and you need to go to the loo, and she knows she's got another hour there.
Well, and you are entitled to your guess, is what I would say.
I'd like to know, but I think yes, but Bryn Tervel always had a beautiful voice. He is older now, but I didn't recognise him because I think he's had Botox or fillers or a facelift. And I find that with a lot of people on television, the older people that you've known when they were young people, and I think nobody actually looks like themselves now. But I think they've had a facelift, they've had fillers. Even the men, men do it as well, not just women.
Well, you may be right. I haven't bothered, but that's...
No, I know that.
You end up looking like this if you don't. But that's fine.
But you don't on the television, though. You're not. So you don't need to on radio, do you?
No, but when I did telly, I never either. I just thought, I like it, they won't book it.
Have you been on television doing a programme?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
When was that?
I don't know. I used to do a series within Northwest Tonight called Beswick's Beat, where we went out and dealt with people's consumer problems, various odds and sods like that, really.
You're probably handsome then, young and handsome.
Hardly. I used to be involved in I used to do newspaper reviewing for a programme on a Sunday morning called Heaven and Earth. BBC One that went on for a couple of years doing that. So,
You've always been busy though, haven't you?
I don't know. Don't know if that counts as busy, turning out on a Sunday morning for a couple of hours.
It does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It's Sunday today. I didn't really know what day it was when I woke up. I didn't know. And Monday's tomorrow. No, today now. And that's a bank holiday again, isn't it? Because when you get old, you don't have bank holidays.
Well, they still exist, but they don't have much bearing to those who are not working.
No, not at all. So when you get to my age, you never have a holiday. I haven't had a holiday since the day Diana died, the 31st of August, 1997. I haven't had one day out anywhere in all that time.
Right. Is there a reason for that?
Well, now I'm living on my own. I can't go far. But I don't know, really. My husband was dying with cancer, and then my son was dying with MS, and we just never really thought about going anywhere, So I'm really confined to my place, and I've got land I can go on, but no, it's just been a long time. It must be 25 years or more.
Well, is there anything stopping you having a...
Yes, my legs now.
Right. Well, yeah. Once it gets difficult to be mobile, it's harder to go on trips and things. But there are all sorts of trips that you can go on if you have I'll call it a disability, but I don't mean in the broader sense.
Yeah, I know. I have. Well, I mean, you can go on nice coach trips. I mean, but if you're on your own, you need to be with somebody.
Well, if you can't enjoy yourself on your own, there's no point going. Yeah.
I do enjoy. I'm not bad in the house. I'm okay. I can do all sorts of stuff I want. But no, when your legs start to go, I think I've been sort of on my legs mostly from about the age of I'll be probably 80 years now. I was 82, and so probably for the first year I was learning to walk, and then really I've never had a sit down job. I've always been on the go all the time.
Right.
It doesn't help really unless you have a little sit down. I'm sitting down at the moment, but I thought I might think, that's what happened to the Queen. I'm not sure whether it be in the paper about it. I'm not sure.
No, I think she was just bored because it was crap.
Oh, it was, yeah. But I think if you're cold as well, she didn't alter her face at all. Her face didn't alter. It was with no smile or anything at all. But he wasn't taking any notice of it. You see, he wasn't turning to see how she was. Are you all right, dear? No.
Well, no, he's the king. He's the king when he's doing public things. He just has to be the king.
No, but she's got to understand that now. Before he'd run up the palace inside, run and get a coat or whatever she wanted. Now he's the king.
What makes you think that?
I don't know. He probably
he doesn't even run and get his own coat. If he wants a coat,
no, he does.
Somebody else does it.
I know. If he's learned to put toothpaste on a toothbrush, I just hope he's learned that by now.
Why?
He used to have a man doing it for him.
Well, why shouldn't he?
Well, have a man doing it for him.
Yeah.
God, Ruth. Well, probably going to do it for him now.
No, he'll have the same. He'll have the same kind of staff doing all that for him that he's ever had. He's not going to change.
Going to live in Buckingham Palace then?
I don't think he will. We don't know yet where he's going to live. Originally, he wasn't keen on Windsor Castle, but the thinking lately has been that he'll almost certainly have Windsor Castle as his main residence. But obviously he'll stay in Buckingham Palace from time to time, and he'll use all those other properties that they have available.
I know. I mean, there's about 600 rooms in Buckingham Palace.
I don't know that there are 600 rooms, but quite a lot of them will be store cupboards as well, and it's a public building in many ways.
Yeah, it's like 700 in the Kremlin. You wouldn't know that, would you, really?
I wouldn't, no. I really don't mind how many rooms there are in either of those buildings.
No. Anyway, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Have a good night. How do Mary?
Hi, Alan. Not spoken to you for a bit.
Right.
It was a boxer lady last time I talked to. I think you were on holiday or something. The previous caller, you know,
Well, that was all very interesting. Aldo Arnold.
Yeah, Alan, you know what I normally do? Wait a minute, Alan. Sorry, you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, hold on. You hear me better now?
It's just the same.
Yeah. You know, remember the old BBC Two, Andy, where when it went off air, you had that picture of that girl with the card with the doors and crosses?
The test card, yes.
Yeah. You remember the old, I kid you not, Andy, you know, like these, Alan, I kid you not, Alan, I'm at Andy Mills, I kid you not, Alan, you know, like these Facebooks and Twitters, I don't blame any social media, I blame people that abuse social media, Alan, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how it's happening, say for example, well, I can quite easily message my brother in Tipperary. Otherwise, I can...
It's quite a long way to Tipperary.
Long way, yeah. I can get on the bus to my brother Wayne in Berry, or my sister Carol in Oldham got a car, my sister Diane in Salford, so they can come up and see me. All the kids have smart cars. My daughter's a fast car as well, I'm so busy. So, it's like to say... you said August, is that your closing date, or it's going to be reviewed, the chat show?
It won't be reviewed. It'll be... we will, as far as I understand it, we will continue until the changes that are planned for local radio come into being. Once those...
I meant to tell them, did you have a look at it, the word tobacco?
No.
Yeah, in the dictionary?
No.
Anyway, when you go into Canada, what date?
5th of June, I think.
Yeah, you got a certain... what time of your flight in the morning?
I don't know off the top of my head.
The Liverpool one?
No.
In all your time, Alan, what was your best ever holiday? In my time, say in Morocco, Portugal, I would say Butlins are not about it. Butlins aren't about it all day, Butlins. Butlins. I'm not getting a takeaway tonight, Alan.
Right.
I'm not getting a takeaway tonight.
Okay.
It's having a fried egg sandwich.
Right.
In the Andrew Millington. He watches telly. Oh, are you a television watcher, Alan? You get your remote and zap all channels?
I don't zap all the channels. I watch things I want to watch.
Yeah. You know what a Bluetooth is, yeah?
I know what Bluetooth does. How it does it, I've no idea.
Yeah. Like I was saying, then when Angela Riffin was on, and Trevor McDonald alternately on the news, ITN and BBC.
Yes, I remember those days, yeah.
Yeah. And when Home and Away was put on, and turn over channel to 504, you get Neighbours.
Right.
I'll tell you what you remember, Alan. And they started doing all night telly. They put Hitman and Her on in the middle of the night, and on Channel 4, followed by Cell Block 8.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's sad news, though. A lot of sad news, but I think them protesters did wrong. They were promised by the police in London that they'd be allowed to protest. But suddenly there was a change of heart from police. On their presence at the Royal drowning.
Okay.
Have you met Prince Charles, Alan?
No.
You met Prince William?
No.
Sister Carol met Prince St. Manchester. Took his hand. We're only human beings, we're all family, aren't we, Alan?
As far as I'm aware, yeah.
I like the bit where Prince Charles said he wants to serve his kingdom, United Kingdom. I like the fact that Camilla's been all years through. Apparently won the heart of the nation on the whole.
Yeah.
What does it view on Alan? Well, there's no excuse for bad manners, is there, Alan?
Not usually.
Yeah. It's pop on that, wasn't it? My Girl Lollipop, bad manners.
That was a pop song, yeah. That was a pop song some years ago, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ring my girlfriend now. Alan.
Okay. Well, good. I'm sure she'll be pleased. Good to hear from you. Have a good night. And there you go. 0800 218 2255. If you want to join us, feel free. We lost Mary, no idea how, but we've got her back again. How do, Mary?
How do, Alan? I'm just going to say there's a lot of diversity in the population now, isn't there? I've been trying to raise money for Rosemary Cancer and the hospice, Derry Hospice, which is self-funding, and people don't seem to have the money to give away now, you know, with the economic crisis. I've been down the promenade this afternoon, with the tables laid out for the longest table serving occasion, and not many people put money in. I didn't hassle them because I'm not like that. You're not allowed to hassle the public for money, but it's all going to the proper causes. I was accused by one member of the public by saying, I'm sure it'll go to the right place. I've got the proper collection boxes. I've gone right through the right authorities, and some of the comments I get off the neighbours round here I'm not happy with at all. I'm having to move area because I've really had enough of it. I'm a single woman on my own. I'm having to go back working. I'm a waspy woman. I can only do part-time work because of health issues. And people just are so ignorant, you know, because you look well, they don't think there's these hidden disabilities. And I'm just quite, fed up with it all, really. I don't know what your views are on it.
Well, it's impossible for me to have a view on how you feel. But people react to what they see before them, and if what they see before them is a person who doesn't look like they've got a disability, they assume they haven't got one. It's not a clever assumption, but it's a natural one.
Yeah. Well, I've got bipolar depression and arthritis and glaucoma, and I look perfectly well, which I am most of the time because I abide by what the doctors say, and I comply. I mean, a lot of people don't comply, and they do illegal substances, which I've never done, and I don't think the doctors have as much sympathy with them now when they've been doing these illegal activities. It's easy to get into
sympathy in a doctor is pointless. You don't want a doctor that's sympathy. You don't want a doctor's sympathy. You want his or her skills. So,
that's correct. Yeah.
And they will treat somebody who's brought the condition upon themselves in exactly the same way as if the person has acquired the condition genetically or indeed randomly.
That's correct, yeah.
Their job is to treat the ill, not to pick and choose who they treat.
The doctors are brilliant in Morecambe. They're really good.
Good.
They listen to you, and I know you have to wait for an appointment, but, I mean, there's thousands of people wanting appointments. I think they prioritise people who do need urgent appointments, obviously. But, I've enjoyed this afternoon, and the whole of Morecambe were out celebrating. It was wonderful to see everybody smiling and having a good time, and the band was marching up and down the promenade. And I joined in with the tambourine because I'm in the Stally Army. They said they should have joined in the band, and I said, no, because I'm not a drummer. I'm a tambourine player. I quite enjoyed myself, and walked home, and it was great. We enjoyed it.
Good.
Yeah. So, thank you for listening to me.
My pleasure. Have a good evening. Good morning, I suppose it is now. It's 20 to midnight. No, it's not. It's 20 to 1. You've got until 1 o'clock to join us if you wish. The number's 0800 218 2255. Tomorrow is a bank holiday, or today, Monday, is a bank holiday, but there will still be newspapers. Thank heavens. I hate days. There are very few of them, but I hate days when there are no newspapers. It really drives me crackers. The Financial Times, the US faces a constitutional crisis over the debt ceiling deadlock. Yellen warns. I think I know who Yellen is, but I've forgotten. The front of the Daily Mirror, Will's tribute to Dad. Granny would be proud. The Prince of Wales says the late Queen is up there fondly keeping an eye on us. Right, well, that's good. Pa, because that's what they call him, Pa, we are all so proud of you. That's the front of the Daily Telegraph that described itself as a coronation special. God alone knows how many more days we got those coming. The Times front page, all hail the King and I. Caitlin Moran, or Maureen, however she wishes it to be said, on what it meant. And Pa, we're also proud of you again. The Guardian, coronation, was it magic or just an empty conjuring trick? Well, it is The Guardian, come on. The protests, the music, the theatre, the outfits and those funny moments reviewed in The Guardian. NHS patients developing cancer due to long waits, according to a top GP. Well, they do a bit of waiting for you as well, so get off your high horse, mate. And the Penny Mordaunt challenge, could we hold a sword up for as long as she did? To be honest, I think she had one of those pouches that you rest the hilt in. But even so, I think she was the star of the coronation. I think Penny Mordaunt was absolutely brilliant on the day. Blood tests for tired drivers could pave the way for prosecutions. Everybody wants our blood. You'd think we were living in a black pudding factory. The Sun, Pa, there it is again. We are so proud of you. That's the Sun. The Eye, Britain more open to the idea of a political king. Are we? Oh dear, that's a step that once we take it, you can't take it back. If we allow the monarch to start behaving politically, you can't then stop them. It's not like that. You can't switch it on and off. Anyway, the Eye, Charles III will make changes quicker than we think, and Camilla officially becomes the Queen. We find that out on Monday. It happened on Saturday. Come on, for crying out loud. Pa, we're all so proud of you. Everybody likes that headline. On an emotional night, William invokes the late Queen in a heartfelt tribute to the newly crowned father. And the Daily Mail also has an historic souvenir edition. One small step for womankind, says the Star. Girls top astronauts. Okay. We're all so proud of you. Granny too, says the Daily Express. And the royals dance all night long, apparently. Well, come on. It's a pun. Lionel Richie. As long as they don't start dancing on the ceiling, everyone will be fine, because their ceilings are bloody expensive. How do David?
All right, that you, Alan, man?
It is.
All right, mate. I just want to say, about the royal family today.
Mm-hmm.
And match of the day tonight. But first of all, I'd like to say, all the Ukrainians that were welcoming into our country and everything, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but that's one thing. I've got a 3-bedroom house on my own. And, there's people, they're queuing up to try and, take over the place, because of bedroom tax and paying the bedroom tax. But, if the royal family want to welcome these people, they've got their own war. Go fight it themselves. Why don't they welcome them into Buckingham Palace instead of my house?
Well, I don't suppose the royal family are welcoming them to your house.
Well, everybody else are just, why? On earth, can this be allowed to happen when people lived here for 45 years and and saying, yeah, get out, there's a load of Ukrainians and Czechoslovakians and everything else, you know. Why? Why should they come and live here?
Well, at the moment, they have a rather, in the case of the Ukrainians, they have a rather serious war going on, and so their lives are in very serious danger. So perhaps that's what we do as a right-thinking, decent country. We give assistance to those in distress.
Yeah, I believe in that, yeah, but nothing to my house, you know.
Well, is anybody forcing a Ukrainian person, or indeed any other person, into your house?
Oh, well, no, but there's 2 or 3 people who have to leave their houses, and what have moved in it? Not Ukrainians, but Czechoslovakians and Polish.
Let's try the question again. Is there anybody trying to force you to have people of foreign extraction living in your house? It's a yes/no question. Is there, or isn't there?
Yeah.
Yes,
yes
there is.
There is. Putting pressure on
there
me.
is. They're putting pressure on you. Who?
I don't like to say the name because of the landlord, you see.
Right, so when you say they're the landlords, are they a private landlord?
I'm not too sure about that. You know, like 100 deal. Well, they're a big, massive company. They took over from the council.
Right, in that case, they're a housing association, are they?
I think that might be called, yeah.
And are they saying to you, we don't want one person living in the 3-bedroomed house, so you need to downsize?
Yes. They are exactly right. The word, yeah.
So they at any point have they said, get out your house, we're putting a Ukrainian in it?
Not exactly a Ukrainian, but the other 2 or 3 houses, there has been Czechoslovakians and Polish people moved in.
So what are you saying, that you should be allowed to stay in this 3-bedroomed house? And
yes.
Yeah, that's fine. And are the housing associations saying you must move, or are they inviting you to?
Inviting me.
Well, refused. How do Simon?
How do Alan? I'd just like to say, you were talking about people with T-shirts earlier on, and
was I?
Refusing, saying King Charles. They disagree. I just want to say that. Now I'm going to talk about what you said earlier about Harpo Marx. It was Groucho.
Did I say Harpo? If I said Harpo, my apologies. I should have said Groucho.
Yeah, and I remember when this little piece he won about he was a dictator, you know, and he's with his gang. I forgot what we were bloody arguing about. We were like laughing, you know. And somebody said, how many letters does it begin with? 7 letters. And upstart. This means war and all that. That's all really, Alan. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. Like a bit of fun. Good on you. Cheers, Simon. 0800 218 2255. If you want to join us, that's good. Oh, Jonah, I'm the easy rider. And then, don't use your army to fight a losing battle. Well, if you don't use your army, you won't find out whether it's a winning or a losing battle, will you? You have the battle, and then you find out whether you've won or lost. So that's, again, a bit difficult. And then animal, mineral, physical, spiritual. Well, that's like 20 questions years ago on the BBC Home Service. And they used to say, well,
BBC News at 1 o'clock. This is Nick Qureshi. The Prince of Wales has heaped praise on the work his father did before he became king during tonight's coronation concert at Windsor Castle.